A solicitor exposed my cheating husband. I think it's time to leave him.
And it's time to leave. Bye.
Yeah. I have been informed by a solicitor that my husband is having an affair. Yesterday morning, I was contacted by a solicitor. I was confused because I don't have any need for one for anything. She told me that her client is seeking a divorce from his wife due to the wife having an affair. By the way, this comes from user Anon Cheated Throwaway on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, their investigator found the affair is with my husband, and the client asked the solicitor to inform me since my husband is married. She provided me with proof of the affair. My brother-in-law is to be married on Saturday. My husband is the best man and is already there to assist with everything. Me and my 5-month-old daughter were supposed to leave on Friday morning to join them. My husband is unaware that I know. I am shocked, but the proof is right in front of my eyes. I haven't told anyone, but I have asked my sister to come over after work. I'm going to ask if my daughter and me can stay with her. I don't think I can face him at the wedding. I don't want to hear excuses. My sister's husband is a solicitor, and while he does not do divorces, I'll ask if he can recommend someone. I have to talk to my sister, but I'm mostly just getting my thoughts out on here because I feel entirely scattered. Here's some comments. OP on if the solicitor who contacted her is a real and licensed person to inform her about the affair. OP says, yes, of course. The solicitor who contacted me is a licensed solicitor. The proof was not photographic, but included videos, voicemails, and receipts. I would question a singular photo, but not this. The solicitor also informed me she is not able to advise me or take me as a client due to conflict of interest, but will provide the information to my solicitor should I pursue a divorce. OP on exposing her husband's affair and her excuse for not attending the brother-in-law's wedding. I think I'm going to tell him that I was exposed to COVID, so I have an excuse not to go, and then tell him I know on Sunday morning. I don't want to tell him before the wedding because his brother and his brother's girlfriend are lovely people, and I don't want anything to spoil their day, including my husband being upset while playing such a big role in their wedding. I would feel awful if I did that to them. He's giving a reading at the wedding, a speech at the reception, and helping his brother prepare and doing other duties to ensure it goes smoothly. I don't care how he feels, but I don't want his emotions to get in the way or spoil the day for the bride and groom. It is for their benefit, not his. I assume this is a reply to a comment telling her that she needs to press the issue right now. I respectfully disagree, and with the wedding only days away, I will not do anything to spoil it. There would be no time to bring someone in to do all the things my husband is responsible for. It's hardly a sacrifice to wait one more day. I don't even want to tell him until I'm at my sister's anyway. You may disagree, and that's fine. I'm thinking of his brother and the bride and their day. OP responds to multiple comments about not leaving the house, kicking the husband out, transfer her money from their accounts to a new bank account. OP says, we do not own a home, we rent a flat. Additionally, we must be separated for 2 out of the next 3 years in order to obtain a divorce. I will not be remaining in our flat. I can get my own once I'm ready. If I emptied the accounts, I could be subject to trouble during the divorce process. That is not allowed. Does OP know anything about the other woman, and if she knows about the divorce in progress? OP says, I have no idea who this other woman is. The solicitor who contacted me informed me that her client will be telling his wife about the divorce next week and told me to do what I needed so I have time. And here comes the update.
What a messy situation. But again, OP is...
done it properly.
OP's thinking reasonably and with their head on straight.
My update. I told my husband I had been exposed to COVID and couldn't attend the wedding. My sister helped pack, and she is letting me and my daughter stay with her until I find a flat. Someone I work with has a family member who has one up that I can afford that's available in January. When my husband returned home on Monday, there was a note telling him I knew about the affair. The husband of the other woman was going to be filing for divorce later that week, and I would not be far behind. My sister's husband is a solicitor, and he recommended a divorce solicitor to me. My husband and I both have jobs. We don't own a home. At the advice of my solicitor, I opened a new bank account for myself, but I did not touch any of our joint accounts. I'm not stopping my husband from seeing our daughter, and my solicitor said the law will favor sharing of custody. Unless it's about our daughter, I told my husband to have his solicitor talk to mine. I won't discuss anything else with him. Once we have been separated for 2 years, we can get a divorce. My solicitor said there is no way to shorten the time requirement. Thank you, everyone who showed me kindness. And there are some relevant comments, but real quick, kind of blows my mind that even in a case of like infidelity and cheating, you have to be separated for 2 years in the UK.
That's just the law, I guess. People who are from the UK, you know better than us in this point in the story.
Yes.
Is there any workaround?
Relevant comments. OP on the country's law for divorces and if there are any strict laws regarding infidelity. In Ireland, divorce was not made legal until 25 years ago.
What?
I mean, hey, it's better late than never, I guess, right?
I'm kind of speechless. That's kind of crazy.
Well,
I know there's a lot of other countries that have some really intense
well, I
divorce
guess
laws.
to be fair, it's like just the stipulation is that it wasn't legal in Ireland. So I guess there was just a bunch of illegal divorces going on.
I don't know.
Before that, divorces were not allowed at all. Oh, never mind. Until 2019, a couple had to be separated for 4 years, not the 2 years that it is now.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah,
In 2019?
That's crazy. In Ireland, divorce is no fault. It would also not make a difference anyways, as we aren't wealthy, don't own a home or any significant assets, and are both employed. OP on using an app to communicate with her soon-to-be ex-husband regarding co-parenting their daughter. That's what we are doing at the recommendation of both our solicitors. I have held firm on only discussing things related to our daughter. Anything else goes to our solicitors. Update 2. This is years later. The update is that I am now divorced. I live in Ireland. It's a requirement that couples live apart for 2 years before they can be divorced.
Okay, so we got a literal 2 year time skip.
Yes, 2 year time skip.
Okay,
at
interesting.
least. There are no exceptions under the law to this. It used to be 4 years, and up until 1998, divorce was not legal in Ireland at all. My daughter and I lived with my sister for almost 3 months before I moved us into our own flat. My husband and I did not own any property, and I legally had no authority to ask him to leave the flat we had while we were married, so I left instead. On the advice of my solicitor, I opened my own bank account and left our jointly owned accounts alone to be settled in the divorce. While we were living apart, my husband and I used an app to communicate about our daughter, and everything else was through our solicitors. I haven't talked to him about the affair. I haven't talked to his family or friends, and I don't have social media. My husband carried on seeing the other woman for several months after I moved out, so I'm sure everyone knows he had an affair, but that isn't my problem now. By the way, we have no problem with you joining us when we go live every single weekday at 3 p.m. PST on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Just tap our profile.
Seems very just easy. Like not easy.
Well, I mean,
as
there
in
was
like
2 years, but
the way this it doesn't seem messy. The husband is not arguing about anything.
No.
The affair's husband looks like that seemed like it was go through, and it just seems like everything's like all right after the 2 long stinky years. The divorce.
2
happened.
separated stinkers. I guess the lesson here really is don't get married in Ireland. It's too hard to cut it off.
I don't think that's the lesson.
She should have been able to leave this man instantaneously after he cheated on her. She should have been able to leave and win whatever.
Why are you
court.
so good at this? Why are you so good at just making bad comments about countries? The lesson here is don't get married in Ireland.
Don't get legally married in Ireland. Get married in a country that lets you leave someone if they cheat on you. And then if you want to live in Ireland, you can live there. It's just you're not married in Ireland.
The lesson here is
what's the problem with that?
The lesson here is just don't cheat. Cheating is bad, especially when you have a child involved. That's dumb. Now you're having a really bad, just a bad environment. Not a bad environment, but it's like that's so toxic because you want to have a healthy environment for that child. And look at that.
That's fair. I mean, if you think the cheaters will listen, yeah, that's fair. I don't know if anyone's ever been successfully like changed from being a cheater from hearing someone be like, don't cheat. They were like, oh my God, why didn't anyone ever tell me that sooner? Like, everybody knows it's wrong. Don't get married
unless if you're a cheater.
I guess unless you're a cheater. The only thing I talk about with him is our daughter and anything related to her. We have joint custody and I will pay him maintenance. Fault is not considered in a divorce and an affair doesn't affect custody. I do not have to pay maintenance to my husband for himself since he's already living with another woman, not the one he had an affair with, and plans to marry her right away now that we're divorced. If he had been living on his own and not about to get married, I would have had to pay him maintenance. I've never met the woman he had an affair with or her husband or their children. My focus is on my daughter and I am civil with her father for her sake, but I don't care about looking on social media or talking to him about the affair. I have never talked to him about it and never will. I only care about my daughter. Apologies if my update isn't exciting. I am divorced, there's no drama, and I know that's usually not exciting. But some people have been messaging asking for an update, and I wanted to say thank you to all the lovely people who offered me support during a terrible time. Glad to hear you're doing well. May things only get better from here.
No, it looks like you cut out the toxic part, or like again, your husband was toxic and cheated, and it, like I said at the very beginning of this, like not very beginning of the story, but earlier, is this was very civil. OP did things in the most civil manner, and it worked out so well. And again, she's like keeping the father of their daughter in their lives for her sake.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
Good. But that's the end of that story. Happy for OP. Got out of it nice and safe and easy peasy, even though divorce sucks.
Good for OP. A mutual expects me to give a wedding gift, but I'm not invited and we're not even friends.
They just want you for your money.
It's the season of giving. I would appreciate any advice or suggestions on how to approach this situation. I'll change the names of those involved. I have a group of friends, though not all of them are truly close to me. Most of them are more friends by association, but we all go out together and have a good time. I do consider Maddie and Jesse to be real friends. For Maddie's birthday, I got her a cake. Jesse had a small civil wedding, and Maddie offered to bring wine for the celebration at her place, while I offered to bring a cake. By the way, this comes from user Impressive Series 117 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, there's a girl in the group named Carly, and my relationship with her is neither friendly nor unfriendly. She's always shown some apathy towards me, and I know she doesn't really like me. I don't dislike her, but I get the sense that we wouldn't be friends since we have different perspectives. During the celebration, Carly commented that she liked the cake, and Jesse mentioned that I had brought it. Carly said it was good, but that it tasted a bit dry. Everybody exchanged looks and changed the subject, but Carly kept talking about the cake. I didn't say anything about it. Carly had been planning her wedding before Jesse got married. She used to invite Maddie, Jesse, and other girls to discuss prices and ask for opinions on things, but she never asked me for my help or advice. I assumed I wasn't going to be invited. Everyone else got an invitation, and I wasn't surprised when I didn't receive one. Jesse wanted to talk to Carly about it, but I asked her not to, as I didn't want a pity invitation, and understood that Carly wouldn't invite me because we're not friend. Jesse told me that she wouldn't attend if it would make me feel bad, but I told her not to worry about it. Then Carly messaged me on WhatsApp to ask about cake designs and filling options. Whoa. I feel like she's just trying to be a problem at this point.
Yeah.
I thought she already had that figured out since her wedding was coming up and she'd been planning it for a while. I sent her the catalog and she commented on a few options that she liked. She asked if I did the setup, to which I replied yes and sent her some example photos. She only reacted to the photos with a thumbs up, and we didn't talk any further. She didn't ask for a quote or schedule a consultation, so I assumed she wasn't interested in my service. This was over a month ago. Today, we went out to eat and everyone was talking about the wedding. Her fiance asked who I'd be bringing. I'm single. So I told him I wouldn't be attending. He asked why. And to keep the mood light, to avoid drama, I mentioned that I'd be traveling to visit my parents. He understood, but Carly asked me when I was leaving. I told her I'd be leaving Wednesday, and she said, well, the wedding's on Saturday. How are you going to set up the cake and desserts?
What?
I asked which cake she was referring to, and she replied, the one you're bringing to my wedding. I told her we didn't have anything scheduled, and she insisted that she had our messages. I clarified that I had only given her options and setup photos, and since she didn't follow up, I assumed that she wasn't interested. Her fiance asked if anything could be done about it. I explained that the bakery requires a contract and a deposit. Maddie asked if Carly had paid a deposit or requested a contract. Carly replied, asking why would she need to, since it was my wedding gift to her and that I should make sure that she had a cake for Saturday.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
What are we doing? Come on, Carly. I explained that I don't handle the bakery's schedule and that with the wedding so close, they wouldn't accept the new order. Carly seemed upset and looked very uncomfortable. I asked for my bill, I paid it, and said goodbye, saying that I needed to go. Yeah, just get out of there as fast as you can.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I really don't want to lose my friendship with the group since I'm not from this city and I felt comfortable with them. I don't want this to create tension, but I also don't know how to handle conflicts. I know it's a bit sad that I can't stand up for myself and would rather avoid confrontation. Maddie told me that after I left, Carly said it wasn't fair for me to back out after agreeing. Some people in the group hinted that maybe I didn't want to go to the wedding because I didn't want to give her the cake. Jesse said I wasn't invited, and Carly replied that she had invited me. me. It looks like we have relevant comments here. Comment 1, it's not okay for her to expect a gift, especially a big cake, from somebody that she didn't even invite to her wedding. You were right to tell her that you hadn't agreed to make the cake. It makes sense that you wouldn't want to give something so big to someone who doesn't seem to like you very much. OP responds, and especially for me to give her that gift when we don't even have a relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like you do have a relationship, but it's one of enemies and not friends.
Yeah.
Here's the second comment. It sounds like Carly is trying to control the narrative, so it might be best to explain things to your group, including copies of your correspondence. Otherwise, you might lose a few friends who are listening to Carly. Maybe even let her fiance know. OP responds, yes, they are really more friends. I've been dealing with them for 2 years, and they are all high school friends. Yeah,
Dang.
I would definitely, if you've got the receipts,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
definitely let people know, hey, I'm not trying to screw her out of this cake. Shh, this was just never agreed upon. All right, let's get into this update. I read a comment that this is how updates are done here. I hope that those who gave me advice and asked for an update can see this.
Blah, blah, blah.
To those who asked why I didn't stand up for myself and let things get so out of hand, as I mentioned before, I don't like confronting people. I get nervous and I feel like I can't breathe. When I had presentations in school, I used to throw up before each and every one. I used to throw up before and after each one. Sometimes I even kept items I didn't order or didn't want just because I was too embarrassed to exchange them. I've been in therapy though, and thanks to that, I'm now able to work as a cashier in a bakery. I don't think I could have done that before. I've come a long way, but I still get nervous speaking in public. I have a younger sister and she used to go everywhere with me. I'd give her the money and she would pay because just talking to the cashier would leave me breathless. I know people often feel sorry for those who seem weak, and I don't want to be seen that way or treated condescendingly.
Nice. You're standing
right.
your ground. I like it.
Yeah.
You see your weaknesses and you're working with them.
Yeah, that's right. I would never condescend you. Someone also sent me a private message asking for our ages. I'm 21, Maddie's 30, Carly's 30, Anna is 31, Carly's fiance is 31, and Jesse is 30. I hope that clarifies a bit more. Now, here's what happened next. Someone suggested what I could say to Carly, and I sent it to her. She replied saying that she thought I wouldn't mind and that I owed her a gift anyway, and she'd chosen the cake as her gift. I replied that only guests are responsible for giving gifts. She asked what I meant, and I clarified that she hadn't invited me to the wedding, and then she left me on red. Classic move. I messaged her fiance something like, I don't want to cause drama or any misunderstandings, but I didn't commit to giving her a wedding cake. I sent him screenshots of our conversation and he called me right away. He apologized and said he thought it was odd when Carly told him I had offered to give her the cake. I mentioned it seemed even stranger to me since I wasn't invited.
Yeah.
He asked if I was serious and I told him yes, but that I wasn't upset and I understood if it was something private. He apologized again and we ended the call. Around noon, Carly messaged me saying I was making a fuss over nothing, as if I couldn't just give her the dang cake. She didn't understand why I was being so sensitive, saying that I'd given Maddie a cake and Jessie one as well, and asked me to explain why I couldn't do the same for her. I replied that Maddie's cake was a birthday cake, and although Jessie's was for her wedding, it wasn't a whole wedding cake. Carly answered that it didn't matter what the cake was for. I told her if that was the case, then she could buy one from the supermarket. Hello?
Yeah, you could do that.
You don't have a leg to stand on. Your argument makes no sense. There's so many holes in it, it's sunk to the bottom of the ocean.
It's like a sponge.
She started typing, but I blocked her before the message came through. Oh, snap.
Dang.
Then Carly sent a message to the group with only the part where I told her to buy a cake at the supermarket, saying that it was insulting and showed how little I valued her wedding, so no one could say she was the bad one. I responded to the group with a suggestion someone gave me in a comment, which I adapted a bit. Hey everyone, I want to clear up some confusion and rumors. I won't be attending the wedding because I didn't receive an invitation. I understood and made other plans for that time since the rest of you were all invited. I'm not hurt or upset. It is what it is. The confusion about the cake is as baffling to me as it is to you. I only provided information on models and fillings from the place where I work, and that's all. I don't understand why it's expected that I cover a cake for a wedding I'm not invited to. It's true, I suggested the supermarket, as she said the purpose of the cake didn't matter.
Ooh.
I hope this clears everything up. I wish you all a wonderful time celebrating Carly and her fiance. Congratulations in advance to the happy couple, and I hope those not involved don't feel caught in the middle. I also posted screenshots where she reacted with a thumbs up when I sent the samples, along with all of the conversations from that day and today. After a while, someone commented that the group wasn't meant for this kind of drama and that we should resolve it privately.
Yeah, Carly.
Well, yeah, I mean, Carly started it.
Oh, yeah.
What, is the group trying to tell you, stop airing your laundry? It's like, Carly made me look bad. I had to defend myself for you guys.
Yeah.
Maddie jumped in and said, quote, Carly demanded the cake in public, so it's only fair that everything is explained publicly. Another girl, let's call her Anna, commented that that's not the way to ask for a gift. Carly saw everything and sent a voice note saying that she didn't know a simple cake would ruin my finances, but that it was fine and that I shouldn't have shared everything in the chat. Then she sent a second message saying that when I get married and don't have friends who can help me out with things from their jobs, I'll understand what it's like to be without support. A guy replied, tagging her, "You didn't invite her." And Carly responded, "No, but she should have told me when she saw that she didn't get the invite."
Come on.
So not only did you not invite her to your wedding, your response to being like pressed on, you didn't invite her to your wedding though. Come on,
That's
dude.
so weird.
Carly is
Insane.
But you know what'll never backfire?
What's that?
You joining us when we go live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Tap the profile. Jessie replied that she didn't like Carly's attitude and that she even considered not going and would only be attending for the fiance's sake. Carly then said, so no one says I didn't invite you. Everyone can see here I'm inviting you now. I'll send an electronic invite since there's no point in printing one now. I replied not to bother as I already had plans. Carly replied, there, you all see. And then someone who hadn't spoken left the group. Here is the update from yesterday from OP.
Yep, and the wedding's happening tomorrow.
Hello, everyone. Before I get into what happened, I just want to thank you all for your kindness and great advice. I'll try to explain everything in order this time. I tend to be very brief when I speak, which can confuse people, but I don't mind clearing things up. You're all great. It's just that the way I speak, my sister always has me ask things like, did this happen before or after, or what happened next? So to clarify things, when Carly tasted Jessie's cake, she had already sent the invitations, the dry cake from the beginning of the story. That was on Monday. The group chat went silent after that, and the boyfriend muted it since he's the only admin. On Tuesday, the boyfriend came to the bakery to ask how I was doing. He apologized for Carly, saying he felt bad for how she treated me. Then he gave me an invitation. It wasn't like the originals. It was just a white envelope with a printed letter inside. I know you all like details. He asked me to come to the wedding, but I told him I already had plans and wouldn't feel comfortable going. He asked why I didn't say anything when I didn't receive an invitation. I honestly told him that I was embarrassed to be the only one excluded, but I understood. He said that he didn't know. And when Maddie mentioned it, Carly said she'd already sent it, but that she would check it. He kept asking me to come, saying that it would mean a lot to him. I said no. I'm learning to say no, and honestly, it feels great.
Nice.
We love boundaries. He asked me to think about it, left the invitation, and left. Later that night, he added the guy who had left the chat earlier, who was the best man, back into the group. Then he sent a message saying something like, the issue is resolved now. It was just a misunderstanding. We hope OP will join Carly and me in our big day. It would be really sad. We'd really miss her if she doesn't come. OP, please come celebrate with us. Dude, now you're just... nobody knows how to not be weird.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Carly and her fiance are perfect for each other because they both
don't get hints.
Have weird pressure in group chats. Anna sent me a private message asking, did the boyfriend really bring you an invitation? I said yes, and she said, send me a picture. When I sent it, she replied, what an idiot. Yeah, it's like, just leave it alone.
Yeah, it's already passed.
She added, don't go if you don't want to. Don't let him off the hook. He's no better than Carly. I thanked her, and we wished each other a good night. The boyfriend reactivated the chat, and Carly replied to his message with 2 crying emojis. Yes, OP? Then the best man left the group chat again without saying anything. I also left the group and turned off my phone. When I arrived at my parents' house, I turned on my phone and saw a bunch of messages. I didn't know what Carly had said, but I assumed it was about me or something else because Anna sent angry messages like, that was too much to the group. The boyfriend had sent, "It's here now, calm down." Carly had sent a bunch of messages in the group asking why I wasn't responding. Maddie replied to one of Carly's messages, which I couldn't see, saying, "Why do you want me to reply if you feel that way?" Apparently, Carly had said something like, "That idiot never has an opinion about anything, and now she's just trying to act interesting."
Oh, yeah. Tell us how you really feel, girl.
Again, why do you even want her at the wedding?
Yeah.
And why would she want to be at your wedding?
That's so weird, dude.
I'm dumbfounded. Jessie responded in the group saying she's not receiving the messages. She's not seeing this. I had a lot of private messages from Jessie, but I first opened the group chat. There were more messages, but honestly, I didn't feel well. I just turned off my phone again. On Saturday, it was the wedding, and I saw the photos on Facebook. Jessie and Maddie had sent me private messages, but I didn't know what to say. In the end, Maddie came to see me at work. She asked if I was upset because she went to the wedding. I told her no. She mentioned I hadn't responded to her messages, and I told her I was just stressed. She also told me that she asked Carly's mom about the whole cake issue, and Carly's mom said that she hadn't received it either because Carly wanted another girl to buy her a cake a week before the wedding. Maddie told her that Carly had originally chosen a fake cake, and the guest cake was pre-ordered in individual portions. Carly's mom said that she would talk to her, but thought it was just a misunderstanding.
Let's go, Carly's mom.
Carly's
she has
mom.
Some sense in her head.
Carly's mom, finally, an adult taking control of the situation.
Let's go.
Maddie also mentioned that the best man told her he was going to cut ties with the boyfriend because of the resort issue and everything that happened. The resort issue? What is that? She said Carly was in a bad mood at the wedding and the boyfriend got drunk, so they left early. But other than that, the wedding was fine. The original bridesmaids didn't end up being the bridesmaids at the wedding. They were other girls.
Oh.
Wow, this wedding sounds like a complete nightmare, honestly.
No.
Maddie also said that neither the best man nor Anna attended. And we do have an edit here. Anna didn't send me angry messages. She sent them to Carly. The group is on WhatsApp, and the messages I received were after I was added back, and the one Maddie selected. I'll tell you what happened with the best man. He's not on my side. He had a separate issue with the boyfriend and Carly. If Anna doesn't like something, she'll tell you. She didn't stand up for me because of me. She would have done it for anyone. I cleared it up this way because I'd like to read all your messages, and I hope that next time I update, it will be the last time because this has been a lot. Sometimes I think I should have just given the cake as a gift. Some people at my work know what happened and it's awkward. I can talk about it easily here, but in person, it's harder for me. Well,
Dang.
That's just the nature of life.
But OP, you're good. You're fine. You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, and this will all blow over at some point, You might end up finding a new circle of friends too, just because you're still young, like you're 21. You're going to be meeting more people and making more friends. So I wouldn't even be too paranoid about is this going to ruin like my dynamic with the friends and the friendship circle? It's like, if it does, that already tells you like you didn't really need to be there anyway.
Yeah.
Because this would be such a weird little non-issue for friendships to be like splintered over.
Yeah.
So
my boyfriend revealed that he doesn't want to marry me after stringing me along for 5 years.
What do you want?
My partner, 25 male, is my 26 female, Rock, and I'm his. Literally, he tells me that all the time, including yesterday. We've been together for 5 years and have truly a wonderful relationship. Always talking, laughing, comfortable with one another, able to communicate healthily even when we disagree. After surviving abuse as a child and struggling with unhealthy romantic relationships in the past, the fact is that we love each other in a respectful way. Secure and profoundly healthy way is truly my biggest blessing, and I wake up every day so happy and grateful for him. He's an incredible man with so much drive, intelligence, kindness, and gifts to give to the world. By the way, this comes from Bath Mermaid on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. About a year and a half ago, it came up for the first time that we saw ourselves getting married one day. It was such a beautiful moment and it rocked my world to have been vulnerable, said those words, and have him say them too. Since it's only been something incredibly happy that I get to hold in my heart and look forward to. The subject has come up sporadically since then, but I haven't wanted to push it too far since we are young, and it is very much an eventually thing. Both of our parents are divorced, and this has come from money. He got a lot of strong advice growing up to not marry young and protect his assets. To see it from a more financial view, than I've ever have thought of. Nevertheless, the thought makes me happy, and we often daydream about the future we'll build together. The little house in New Hampshire we'll hope to buy, and the dogs and the chickens we'll have. These are conversations he participates in and brings up on his own all the time. I want to be able to talk casually about the marriage aspect too. Go to bed with the sleepy, can't wait to marry you, or love of my life. But for some reason recently, whenever the subject has come up, he's clammed up and made it feel really serious. This accumulated maybe 2 months ago with a really weird conversation in which I sense he might not have processed what marriage really means in the way that I had, and that he wasn't ready to be talking about this in the way that I was, or as much as he has let on. I told him I don't want to put a pew pew to his head. This is something that makes me happy to think about and talk about, and I tell him everything. I say I love him for him, and I'd wait as long as he needed, but that I firmly didn't want to bring up the subject again until he was comfortable discussing it. I wanted to relieve the pressure on him, and I haven't mentioned it since. Well, yesterday we spent a really lovely day getting lunch and hiking with my family. They live far away, so we don't get to see them very often. My stepsister and her fiance were there as well. And of course, there was a little bit of light conversation about their upcoming wedding. My boyfriend was his usual friendly, easygoing self. I noticed he seemed quiet on the way home and later that evening, so I asked if he was worried about work, but he just said that he was tired from a long day of traveling. I made him a drink, kissed him on the forehead, like I always do, and promised we could do whatever he wanted to relax that night. Just did what I normally do when I see that he's stressed. Try to show empathy and take care of him. But then as I'm making dinner, he comes over to me and drops this bomb.
Oh, God.
He came over crying and said spending time with an engaged couple and even barely talking about their wedding had sent him into a panic, and he didn't know if he could ever see himself getting married. I tried to parse what he was saying, but it was like my brain was stuck. Evidently, he had been locking himself in his office at work all week and crying about this.
See, so this is a great example of bad communication.
I kept asking him why he would say he wanted to marry me if he didn't. He said he was lying, basically, that he wanted to give me what he knew I wanted to make me happy. I could only just stare at him open-mouthed. I kept trying to pinpoint if he was saying to me, I don't think I'll be ready to get married for a long time, or I don't think I'll ever be ready to get married. And I really don't think he knows himself. I don't think he has put any kind of mature thought into marriage at all.
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you a live demonstration and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story.
It was like talking to a scared child. He kept saying stuff about not knowing where his career will lead or if he'll have money. He has a great job, extending network, and he is definitely not poor. Neither of us are. And I was just like, we're a partnership. You wanted to be with me yesterday. You wanted to be with me today. Do you want to be with me tomorrow? Yes, he said. I said, well, that's all that matters. We have a life we love, and we'll take on the future together when it comes. I'm devastated. He left for his mother's house, and I don't know when he'll be home. I cannot take another sleeping pill or my heart will stop, but I can't sleep a wink. I literally spiked a 100-degree fever and spent all night sweating and freezing. I had no idea it was possible to be in so much pain. It makes you physically sick. This person is the bedrock of my life. We have always had rock-solid confidence that we can trust each other, be vulnerable around each other, and be our full, authentic selves without inhibition or fear of judgment. We share everything together, and we are best friends. He even said that over and over as he sobbed that he told me he loved me and he didn't want to get married. Hours ago, I had the most beautiful and solid relationship in the world. Now I don't know if we're going to break up. I'm reeling.
Wait, what are
Really?
you talking about? He just said I'm through sobbing tears that he loves you, but that he can't get married.
Yeah.
So there's something there, but
Yeah.
like it just needs to be talked out. I don't know. It's weird. This is weird.
Yeah, I'm reeling.
This is
I
weird.
feel like I've been stabbed in the back by my safe space. The earth fell out from under me, and I don't even know what to think anymore. We got an update. Dude, I mean, I think a nice little couples therapy session, a few of those would go a long ways here, I believe.
Yeah, I feel like this guy has like in his head. It's just I got two decisions here.
Yeah,
either I keep going and just like be scared, or just break it off and I'll be okay.
The long and short of it, he left me. I called him the next day asking when he would come home. He told me he needed a day to think, but he was talking like we were broken up. I asked him to at least tell me if we're still together. He wouldn't. So yeah, he just torched it pretty much in an instant. I had been leaning a lot on the kind words I received from folks who reassured me that one fight does not need to derail everything we built over the last 5 years. I took the perspective that the question of marriage was something that we need to discuss and seriously and hopefully through therapy to arrive at what both of us want. I had no idea that he would just upend the table with no warning without ever expressing his feelings or giving us the chance to address it with even a single conversation. So many of the comments I received revolved around the question, is not marrying him a deal breaker for you? Would it be okay with simply a long-term relationship? I don't know. I would have to search my soul for that answer, but I didn't even get the chance. He just made the choice for me, 5 beautiful years, and he just effing left. Needless to say, there were a million better ways to do this while honoring his fears and feelings while still showing me an ounce of respect as his partner and someone who loves him. This owed a conversation, and even if we still reached the same conclusion, I would understand. But this is not what I deserve. Yeah, dude.
No,
what?
not at all.
I am like speechless. I'm mad at myself because I gave this guy a chance. I was like, okay, this guy's hurt. He's hurt inside,
No.
and he doesn't know how to communicate, and he's gonna like work on that. Why did I fall for this? I did see him one night, and we have been texting. He said all of this awful stuff about how he was just trying to tell me everything I wanted to hear, and how I wouldn't like the person he really is underneath all his people pleasing. He's got a lot of this don't talk about it, just run in his family, including his parents' relationship. My partner has always said he doesn't respect this kind of behavior and talked vehemently about how his values are different. And then just did the same thing. Although, when I wrote my original post, I wanted nothing more than continue living our happy day together. But given this entire nightmare, space is the only thing that can do anything for either of us at this point. He has no idea what he's feeling or how to talk about it in a healthy way. My dad had the simplest take and yet said it best. He's immature. He needs to work on himself, and I hope he does. As for me, I'd be an idiot to still want to marry him knowing this is the kind of thing he's capable of. By the way, you can be capable of joining us on your favorite podcast platform. Just go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen, search up OK Storytime, and you can hear more crazy stories just like these.
Right
Check us
in
out.
your ear holes.
So we've got to break our lease. Apartment hunting, while still reeling from this 180 flip of my life, has been terrible. We moved to the city together, and pretty much every friend I have met is through him. So I'm really scared it will mean losing a lot of other people I love too. It's going to be expensive and miserable to live on my own, but I'm still grieving my sweet love and the life I thought we were going to have together. I gave 5 years of my life and so much of myself to being one half of that partnership. I never wanted to be on my own again, and now I am. I still love him, but I can't wait around while he fixes himself or pine foolishly hoping one day he'll wake up and be ready for me. I don't want to stand on my own 2 feet but that's just what I'll have to do. But that's the end of that story, chat. I refuse to take care of my flu-ridden wife because she caught it from her affair partner.
Down with the sickness, down with the wife.
This is partially a rant and partially an actual question. I, 54 male, have been married to my wife, Victoria, 54 female, for over 32 years. We have 3 adult daughters and 1 adult son. By the way, this comes from expert anybody 23 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So earlier this year, she started menopause. I loved her and supported her through this difficult time. She said she didn't want to have spicy tango because she felt like she is fat and ugly. I told her she's beautiful and I was patient with her as she said she didn't want spicy sleep. It was only since this month that she wanted us to have spicy sleep again. I thought things were getting better until I saw a spicy wrapper in our bedroom. My job involves going out of town for business trips. This last trip, I tried to get into my wife's social media and luckily enough, she used someone's birthday as the password. I found out her affair partner is 35 male Zach, a family friend who has a wife, 29 female. So, on my trip, I read so many messages. One message involves Zach asking if it's okay to come over for their fun time since he thinks he's coming down with something. Even after getting back in town, I read some messages. Zach messaged that he and his wife have the flu, so he can't see my wife for a while. My wife said that herself getting the flu was worth it. I came home to my wife, who is suffering from what, Keon?
The flu.
I wonder where she got it from. Babe, where'd you get this flu?
She got it from me. I just got over a flu.
I just saw on Facebook that Zach and his wife are down with the flu. Do you know anything about that?
No. I think it's just going around. It's the time of the month, you know? It's that time of the year.
Sounds like
it's going around. Everyone's getting it.
I immediately told her I know about her and Zach. She was upset, but too weak from the flu to stop me from packing and leaving. She begged me not to leave her alone while she's sick.
Oh.
After I left, my wife has been messaging me. She said she's very sick. I told her to go to a doctor, call an ambulance, or call someone. She said she's not unaliving, but she needs me. She said she can't call her kids nor any other family members since they'll ask why I'm not there. She said that menopause had made her crazy that she wouldn't see Zach anymore. I still haven't gone back. Am I the a-hole?
No.
You need time.
Gather your thoughts. You're betrayed. You've been married for so long. And remember when we made our marriage vows in sickness and in health?
Whoa.
How about them apples?
Whoa.
How about you don't cheat on me with Zachary and get sick?
Edit. As soon as I found the messages, I was planning on telling Zach's wife. I wanted to tell her face to face. I wanted to spare our adult children the horrible news. But many in the comments made a good point that my wife could lie to our kids. So I called Zach's wife first. I don't know what's going on in their marriage because she believed me right away. I called my kids and talked to them like a conference call. I had to, unfortunately, send some proof to them. I didn't go overboard, just enough for them to believe me. Obviously, they're all upset. Try to keep it together as I don't want to vent about their mother to them. Second edit, Zach's wife has been messaging me last night and this morning. She was planning on leaving Zach anyway because Zach was sleeping with 2 other women. 2? But the fact that Victoria is a married woman who is like a family member speeds things up. Zach's wife made Zach leave the house. Good. Also, all my kids have called their mother. They're not buying any of their mom's excuses. They all want me to divorce her. We got some relevant comments. Mustang 1967 says, call the wife and tell her. Call all your kids and tell them before she lies and tell the kids right away. See a lawyer right away. OP, I would hate to tell my kids, but I may have to do it if their mom will lie to them. The sanity inspector, menopause did not make her cheat. Mail order a carton of NyQuil to her if you're feeling a little compassionate. OP says, I'll never know what menopause feels like. I've known other women who've gone through it. To my knowledge, those women have managed to avoid having spicy sleep with a married man who's a family friend. Go high, Sweet Cherry says, please see a lawyer. Do you live in a no-fault state? If not, you may want to take screenshots of the messages, etc. before she deletes them. I'm sorry you have to go through this. OP says, I did take screenshots. I've saved evidence in other ways as well. Whether or not they can be used in court is something I'll find out from a lawyer. Go hide, Sweet Cherry says, then please see one on Monday morning. You need to know if it's a good idea you leaving the property or if she should leave. I know you're hurting, but practicalities will mean a lot lot in the long run. Don't feel sorry for her just because she got the flu. Feel sorry for yourself. You are so loving and trusting. You didn't see what a disloyal and unfaithful snake you were married to. Not the a-hole. OP says, I have to fight the natural instincts, which are to feel sorry for her and take care of her. I will see a lawyer. And Restore Furniture 179 says, single woman here. I take care of myself when I'm sick. She can too. She chose that outcome. Now she has to lie sick in it. All kinds of ick sleeping with a married man, child close to the family. OP says she literally chose to have spicy tango with a man who warned her that he was coming down with something. Afterwards, she messaged him that their fun was worth getting the flu. I have to remember that in case I feel sorry for her. But we have! Juicy update. The answer was obvious, but I needed other people to tell me, so I didn't stupidly go back to my wife. Thank you to those who commented on the first post. I had to make 2 edits on the first post to explain some stuff that happened after I posted. To just briefly touch on those edits, Zach's wife and my adult kids know that my wife, Victoria, had an affair with Zach. Zach's wife kicked him out of their house. All kids are on my side and they want us to divorce. I talked to a friend who's a major divorce attorney for the 3rd time. I've given her a lot of evidence so she can decide what we can use. She did say I should be careful what I say online, especially I use Victoria and Zach's real names.
Oh, you never do that, OP.
Our kids, especially our eldest daughter, are pressuring their mom to make this a quick and easy divorce. But you know what else is not really quick and probably the easiest thing you could do?
What's that?
Is joining us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. All you gotta do is tap a profile. What do you think about these kids? Like, divorce, mom?
Divorce. No, they're trying to make this, again, rip off the Band-Aid, make it as quick as possible, which is great. I mean, you got to move on, and there's no reason to save this marriage. She cheated on you and willingly cheat on you, and unless if you really want to make it work, which I don't think you do.
No, OP is not in the headspace to do that.
No, I think you want to move on. No matter how hard it is, you got to get this divorce. It sucks.
You know how many PRs this man's about to hit?
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. It was worth it. And then she gets angry at you that you found out that she cheated. And then she's like,
didn't make her chicken noodle soup.
You're like, I need medicine. I need you. No. You can get Zach.
A lot of people who commented saying I was being too nice to my cheating wife. I'll show some pettiness by letting everyone here mock all the excuses and minimizations she made for her cheating. Menopause made her crazy. She felt fat and ugly. She felt like she didn't deserve me. Zach came on to her first. She wanted to make sure a man could be attracted to her without him being obligated to, because she's the mother of his children. She has spicy tango with Zach to make sure she can still have spicy tango. Zach didn't mean anything to her. I'm overreacting because Zach is a family friend and not a family member. Zach's wife isn't like a daughter to us. She didn't betray a woman that's like a daughter to us. Other husbands have forgave their wives when the wives cheat. If I had spicy tango with a younger woman during a midlife crisis, she would have forgiven me. We have 4 kids. We've been together for so long. I promise to love her in sickness and in health.
What does this mean? What does that comment from OP? That was very weird. It was like, he's like family to us, but he's not a family member. Does this mean that OP doesn't want to get through the divorce, or?
Nah, it sounds like I don't know.
He's torn. This is his wife, and he loved her and loves her unconditionally, and he doesn't know what he wants to do.
Desperate Not to Dream says, it's interesting how she's refusing to acknowledge any harm she did to the other wife. OP says, Zach's wife is someone Victoria and I watched growing up. She was like a niece. Our eldest daughter was the maid of honor for their wedding. Fragrant Opportunity 3 says, menopause makes just about every woman gain weight, especially in the stomach. I went through it 13 years ago. Never cheated on my husband though. OP says, my eldest daughter didn't appreciate it when my wife said that when she goes through it menopause, she'll understand. Snarky Bean Broth says, just gonna note that as someone who has gone through the I feel fat and ugly stuff without using it as an excuse to cheat, having feelings about aging can be a real struggle. But it's a struggle that is on you, the person struggling, to address and fix it. I've made peace with my older, slightly chubbier, more gray self. Some of it putting in the emotional labor and some by proactively doing stuff like exercising to mitigate the changes. I feel unattractive isn't a free pass to check out the public about one's attractiveness in that please vote with your wiener kind of way. If she needed outside validation beyond you telling her and showing her that you still loved her and found her attractive, there were plenty of ways that didn't involve someone else's wiener. Still not the a-hole. I'm saddened for all of you involved in the blast radius of this crap show. OP says thank you. I was there constantly telling her how beautiful I found her. Why would she need another man to feel better? And Purple Loving Brunette says, I'm in early stages of menopause. It hasn't caused me to cheat. It didn't cause my stepmom to cheat. Such a lame excuse on why she cheated. I find it funny that Zach was seeing another woman while she was seeing the married woman. The wife lost everything. I hope her affair partner was worth it. Zach's wife and the husband can be each other's support system. Be so ironic if he and Zach's wife got together. OP says, I had watched Zach's wife grow up. She's like a niece to me. It would be icky for a lack of a better term. And this is the last comment OP has made.
Okay.
So he's not going after Zach's wife.
I don't see how anyone would paint OP as an a-hole. That shouldn't be the case. I don't think like any of his actions, all his actions were very understandable.
I could see like not Victoria 101 saying he's the a-hole.
Okay, well, do you think divorce...
Because they're in that stage
it's in
of
that
life.
stage. It's like so late. They've been together for so long.
No. Why be with someone you resent?
Because it was a one-time mistake. It was a menopause. It was menopause.
No, dude. She doesn't want to work on it. He's definitely not in the headspace to work on it. They just need to...
Yeah, can you imagine that like her excuse was, I'm not looking good. I don't feel good. I'm overweight. I feel ugly. And he's like, no, you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen on this planet. And she's like, that's not the validation I needed. I need a younger man to validate me.
Yeah, that's tough too. Toxic. That is the end of that story.
My best friend refused to pick a side, so I'm going no contact.
Ooh, looks like I picked the side for you.
Exactly. Me, 23 female, and my childhood best friend, 23 male, who we'll call Simon, have known each other since we were 8 years old. I always thought of him as a brother, and we were always together until the end of elementary school. By the way, this comes from Altruistic Lack 1709, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. Unfortunately, we ended up drifting apart during the last 3 years of middle school since I had to transfer schools due to economic reasons. But we later on found each other again through a mutual friend after we entered high school. In high school, I met a girl, we'll call her B. She and I didn't start on the right foot. She was kind of my bully, but I never faulted her for it because it was instigated by another girl and B was easy to manipulate. After 2 years, this other girl ended up ghosting B in real life, ignoring her as if she had never existed. I felt kind of bad for her, so I ended up keeping her company and in the end, befriending her. Around the same time, I met my current best friend. We'll call her D. D actually helped me a lot in high school since I was struggling with depression and self-harm because of various situations that I had at home, at school, and with my boyfriend at the time, with whom I had a very toxic relationship with that lasted 6 to 7 years. Dee was there for me through it all. She helped me pick myself up, and with my mother, she helped me understand my worth. Little by little, to me, she is my savior that I platonically love. During the years, Simon, B, D, and I formed quite a tight group. We all knew each other's secrets, each other's weaknesses, each other's problems, and we always helped each other out because of that. That was until 3 years ago when I finally decided to end things with my toxic boyfriend once and for all. I was struggling because it had been quite the long run and I couldn't imagine something outside of that kind of relationship. So moving forward was very difficult. But like always, I had D to come to the rescue. Because of that, Simon seemed to become insecure. He started to rant to me that I was giving D preferential treatment, that she knew more about me than he did and he didn't like it. That's a weird thing to complain about.
Does seem like
she knows more about you than I do. Like, okay, take some time, be there for her.
Yeah, it's like, why is that? That shouldn't be a, it should be like a, hey, I want to get to know you more.
Yeah, let's like hang out more, blah, blah, blah. I tried reassuring him, but it didn't work. A couple of months after my breakup, Simon decided to introduce me to a friend of his. We'll call him Alex. Around the same time, B got herself a boyfriend. At the time, I was genuinely happy for her, as I was also starting to come out of my shell. And then the problems began. For starters, after B got into a relationship, and as I started talking more with Alex, Simon became even more paranoid. This time starting to talk to B behind my back, calling me a bad friend because I didn't make enough time for him. I didn't know of this until later on because I had to focus on myself since my health started deteriorating. I began having trouble breathing, but for months it was treated as bronchitis, so the doctor started to prescribe me cortisone pills. Those pills had me gain 5 kilograms. I didn't feel bad, but having my father and Simon call me fat wasn't exactly good for my mental health. I wonder why we're not so close to Simon.
Yeah.
Maybe because he freaking sucks.
Maybe
and he's bullying you?
A total shocker as to why that could ever be. I just want to say that there is a way to bring a concern to your friend if you are concerned that their weight could impact their health. It's not by just being like, you gained 5 kilos, you're fat.
Yeah, that's
not how you
bullying.
do that.
That's just bullying.
And also, they're on medication.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Simon and B slowly started to become closer. I was actually happy that 2 people I cared about were on good terms, but that soon turned on me. Simon and B became a bit demanding. They started saying I wasn't contacting them often enough, that I was way too busy to hang out with them, and that wasn't good because they were supposed to be my priority. They started reprimanding me that a good friend shouldn't avoid the important people in their life. And with every comment like that, I would witness D rolling her eyes into oblivion for how ridiculous they sounded. I honestly thought nothing of it, but then things ended up becoming even weirder. After I started going on dates with Alex, Simon seemed to become more and more irritated. He said he wasn't sure I considered him a best friend anymore.
What the heck? Is this Simon Says? Because I would like Simon to say nothing from now on.
I tried to reassure him multiple times, but to no avail. Little did I know he started bad-mouthing me to Alex after talks of starting a relationship came up. Alex didn't want to tell me what actually happened, and I let it be because later on, one disaster after another started to appear. B had done volunteering work since middle school and medical practices since her mother was a paramedic. And yet she was, sarcastic tone incoming, smart enough to decide to not use any contraceptives with her boyfriend, with him doing the deed in her. So lo and behold, she ended up pregnant. Shocked expressive.
Who could have ever anticipated this
Wow.
shocking turn of events?
Wow! The fact of the matter is that she never wanted kids, so she was in a panic. I tried to help her the best I could, but her boyfriend was keeping her away from us, so all I could do was provide information. I found out later that she went to Simon and told him, "Emma's useless. I could find this information by myself. She's not helping in the slightest. She's too caught up in her own problems, like the world revolves around her."
Oh, you sweet summer child. Hey, here's some advice for you. Use protection.
It honestly is hilarious that both D and Simon ended up ranting to D because she's kind of overprotective of me. Later on, B talked to D. Her boyfriend had her prescribe termination pills to take every day. No such pill exists. The only pill that I know of that is for daily use are vitamins. So the whole situation was sus, especially with the fact that after 3 months, she was still pregnant. Fast forward to Halloween night. Pure disaster. I organized a dinner party inviting D, B, and Simon and another group of friends. During the dinner, B then came with her boyfriend. This will be important later. Texted me, "I don't like these people. They yell too much. I don't want to interact with them." Since I wanted to enjoy myself, I let her be. She, Simon, and her boyfriend isolated themselves from the rest of the group for the rest of the night, which seemed weird to everyone else. So I joked about them being my little antisocial friends. Something that all 4 of us have said and has been joking about for years since I tend to be quite the social butterfly.
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you a live demonstration and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story.
And that tends to be draining for all 3 of them. Strangely enough, this time around, D was the only one who laughed in agreement, while B and Simon stayed silent. That night, after I got home, my phone started blowing up with notifications from B and Simon. Simon was asking me why I attacked B during dinner. Not understanding what he was talking about, I asked him to elaborate. He told me that I called them antisocial, which pissed them off. And because of that, they felt like they had to isolate themselves.
If the shoe fits, my guy.
He's like, "You called us antisocial, and so that's why we were antisocial."
I would be like, my guy, I'm perplexed.
Oh my guy. My guy. I had a weird feeling about this. I asked what he was talking about. We have been joking about this thing for years. And as a matter of fact, they were the ones who started saying it, referring to themselves as antisocial. He said that he wasn't actually important to me and that being an airhead wasn't a real thing, but just an excuse to not pay attention to someone you just don't care about. That hurt me a lot because I'm naturally clumsy and get distracted very easily thanks to also having ADHD. I can't help it that I sometimes forget things. And I believe it happens to everyone, but for him, I was just making excuses for myself and I needed to find a solution to fix myself because no matter how many times I messed up and felt bad about it, I never changed to make the other person feel better. Being the doormat I was back then, I agreed with him, ending the conversation there. Now on to B. She said almost the same things, but started calling me selfish since how dare I think of myself for once and enjoy a nice evening while she was in a crappy situation. Major eye roll from D. I was shocked, but her rant didn't end there. She said, I can overlook the fact that you didn't want to be nice to me and Corey and didn't want to let us interact with the others, although it shouldn't be this difficult to give priority to the truly important people of your life. But you could at least integrate my boyfriend into the rest of the group. They're just making problems. They're
just yapping.
My response to her was along the lines of, okay, first of all, you were the ones who told me you didn't want to interact with any of them. So how could I force you to talk to someone you clearly don't like? And second, I introduced your boyfriend to the group. I don't know him that well, but like the rest of us, he is now over 20. He should be able to speak for himself. What was I supposed to do? Take him by the hand and be like, kids, this is Bleep. He will be joining us today. Remember, play nice with each other. Should I have treated a guy my age and twice my size like a kindergartner kid? Oh my, she didn't like that one bit. So after she told me that I was a B word for taking the side of the others, she actually meant Gina, a mutual friend that she actually hates. Insulting the rest of my friends, calling them names, and taking Simon's side, she ended the conversation with, you're lucky I decided not to be a B word and ruin you right then and there for how you behaved. She didn't speak to me for a week. I showed Dee the chats. She was baffled and on the verge of committing unaliving. She had me call Gina and also tell her what Gina was worried that this happened because of her and B's rivalry. She never had anything against B, but didn't want to be the cause of me being hurt. So she contacted her. Same day, I received 2 notifications almost at the same time. B. The B wrote to me, do you have something to do with this? And Simon says, hey, what's going on with B? In my head, I was like, at least try not to make it obvious that you spoke to each other. I responded to B, hi to you too. I'm good, thanks. It's so great that you start conversations pointing fingers when I have no idea what you're talking about. I swear I was so done with this. She sent me a screenshot of her chat with Gina. The genius in her didn't think of controlling to cut the top part of the picture that had the timestamp of 15 minutes prior to her sending me a message. And with even more unfortunate timing, a notification that read, Simon tried to make her talk. I felt betrayed, and once again, Dee was planning how to unalive them. Well, I decided to not contact the 2 of them for a while. At the beginning of December, I was physically getting worse, so I kind of forgot about the whole thing since my main concern was my health. Around the same time, Alex and I became a couple, so while I was organizing my birthday party, I obviously invited him. 5 days before the party, after me and Alex got together, tragedy struck. Cora, my beloved 14-year-old German Shepherd, passed away in my arms. Oh, she was always lively for her age. That same evening, she jumped on the table to steal food. 2 hours later, she acted like she felt sick. She stopped moving, and in the span of an hour, she was gone while I stroked her head that she put on my lap one last time. I had already prepared everything for the birthday party, so I couldn't cancel. Dee had in her bag an entire pharmacy for me because I was also struggling to stand or walk for more than 5 minutes. I think you should cancel this party.
Yeah, maybe cancel the party, go to the doctor, go to the hospital.
I mean, your health is not doing well. You just lost your dog. I think you could cancel the party.
Circumstances have arisen.
Simon arrived late along with Alex. Him being my boyfriend, I said hi to him first. Then I turned to Simon and asked jokingly, aren't you gonna hug me? He looked at me and retorted, that's rich coming from you since you ignored me the moment I entered. I let it be since I didn't want to ruin my day because I was also still mourning my dear Cora. For that matter, Dee prepared the best gift ever. A hand-sewn cushion with the silhouette of my darling Cora sewn onto it. That's very sweet. I started crying the moment I opened the package with her and Alex hugged me, but from the corner of my eye, I saw Simon's eyes rolling as if I was being dramatic. And that's when you can roll on out of here. I don't want to see your face again, Simon.
Yeah, it's like, it's your party. You can choose the guest list, right?
Yeah.
Make them leave.
Bye. The evening ended on a cheerful note, but the rest of December was awful. I was officially to stay at home under medication again after the party, and exactly 5 days later, 10 days after Cora passed, my 19-year-old cat Mel also passed away in my arms. She was struggling for the past 2 months, so we were actually happy we didn't have to put her down, but it still hurt, of course. 2 days later, all heck broke loose. Simon called and decided to yell at me, dragging around the Halloween problem, telling me that I was insensitive, that I should have considered B's side because now she had miscarried at 4 months, endangering her life and ending up in the hospital. How is that OP's fault?
Yeah.
How is that OP's fault?
What is this person is like a professional projector?
I'm sorry. OP must be like an evil mastermind if all of this is her fault.
Crazy.
Unfortunately, I couldn't process this information very well. I was sick, full of pills, and mourning my life companions, so I was distracted during the conversation. The result was him throwing a fit about my birthday. How could I say hi to Alex before him, since he was the one to enter first through the door? How dare I sit next to D, who had my pharmacy in her bag, and Alex, my boyfriend, who knew no one except me, Simon, and D. Instead of having him sit near me, he had priority. He had to be near me and not anyone else. He is so jealous.
This is weird.
So jealous and territorial in a very concerning way.
Yeah.
He also started saying that it was impossible for a person to be as distracted as I am, and that with D, I was certainly like that. The moment I told him I actually was like that with everyone, including D, he asked me, "And she's seriously okay with you being the way you are?" Impossible! This guy drove me into a hysteric attack. My parents came to end the call on my behalf since I was a mess and couldn't stop yelling and crying. It almost looked like my veins were about to pop up. After I calmed down, I called Dee to tell her everything. She calmed me down and told me to call Alex and figure out what Simon really said behind my back since he didn't want to tell me before. What came out was absurd to say the least. Alex and Simon had fought after the party that day because certain personal thoughts of Simon came to light. He told Alex that how dare he sit next to me. It didn't matter that he was my boyfriend because Simon said, and I freaking knew it! He was supposed to have me. I knew it!
Boo this man!
Knew he had a freaking crush on OP. That's why he's being so territorial. I freaking knew it.
Gross.
I freaking knew it.
Dude, and that's how you're going to treat the person you have a crush on?
Why he
What
was
are you,
acting all
5
weird.
years old? Like,
Oh my God.
what's wrong with this guy?
Oh my God, I knew it. I knew it. I was like, oh yeah, he probably has a crush. Freaking knew it. He told Alex that he always saw him as inferior and introduced him to me, thinking that if an inferior person like him could have a shot with me, he could definitely have me. You're disgusting, Simon. The moment Alex and I started to actually become more serious about each other, Simon changed his tactic. He started telling Alex that I was cheap, that I was greedy, and that all I wanted from guys was physical satisfaction. When the plan of making me look bad so Alex would lose interest backfired, he lost it and started having it out for me because if he couldn't have me, he would destroy me. B was no better.
What a loser.
Yes, she had a boyfriend that left her pregnant, but she always had a thing for Simon. Oh, it's this terrible love triangle.
Ugh.
Since she couldn't have him, she got bitter the moment I was available, and when he started ranting about what was happening, she tried to put him against me so she could have a shot with him. Dee gave a piece of her mind to both of them and started writing down in a journal every mean thing they said, saving parts of every chat with them for blackmail purposes. I obviously will never let her use it, first of all, because those two are a waste of time, and second, I'm too poor to pay her way out of jail. And breaking her out is out of the question since life on the run isn't for either of us. Joking about that whole thing, obviously. You know what I'm not joking about?
I have a feeling I know exactly what you're not joking about.
We've got full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. Just search up OK Storytime. You'll get more full episodes.
Do it.
Do it.
Do
and
it.
there's a teeny weeny bit left. I cut all contact with the two of them.
Yes.
B, despite the whole disaster with the miscarriage, is alive and well, sleeping around with guys after breaking up with her boyfriend for cheating on her. Simon was talking about moving to another county, but I have no idea what happened to him, but he seems well. I don't care about him. Alex and I drifted apart for various reasons, but we ended everything on good terms. No! Y'all broke up?
I mean, like, you know.
There's so much drama.
There's a lot going on there. There's that. It was kind of
OP's
poison pill.
Yeah. Dee is still by my side like she always was. Gina and I go ice skating together from time to time. I now have a new kitty and puppy. I call them the Tornado Cuties. My health is slowly improving after 3 years, and I finally decided to start university. So as you can see, life goes on. And now for the big question, am I the a-hole? No.
Are you sure about that?
Are we positive? Yeah, you're not the a-hole. Clearly Simon and B are lunatics. But yeah, that is the end of that story.
Extremely clearly,
Yeah.
you are not.
Yeah.
the problem.
It's just so obviously not.
It's like, if you were somehow the problem there, then you are a very, very good fiction writer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Like you left out stuff if you were the problem.
My friend claimed she had an affair with my boyfriend, but her proof makes no sense.
it's just a bunch of pudding.
Check the pudding. I would try to explain the situation the best I can, even though I myself am really confused. So it all started a few months ago when my best friend Kim started questioning the liberty when, like trust, I give to Mike. I don't make an issue of things that would normally be inappropriate for some people. By the way, this comes from Mike and Vic. Even if you want to submit your own stories, please go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So I trust Mike's character and believe he will make the right choices. I also know I'm the jealous type, so it is better to just let it go for me and trust. I would rather he strays than behave himself because I am watching solely. However, Kim kept trying to imply that he could be cheating on me and that I would have no idea. Her ex cheated on her. It was high school though, so I guess she tends to be suspicious. Now, why my boyfriend? I thought it was because she was looking out for me. She's also friends with him, so surely she knows he is not that type, right? I know anyone can cheat, but let's agree that some people are really less likely to. Mike and I have been together for 3 years. He is my first, and I love him very much. He is both a lover and a friend to me, and our relationship is a source of happiness to me, and him too, normally. Mike has never given me a reason to doubt him, never lied about serious things, just insignificant things like saying he's arriving soon at my house when he's really just finishing up showering. Basically, the idea of him cheating is foreign to me. We had strong and clear boundaries in place. I would be mind F if he knew the type of person he is. But then again, most betrayed thoughts like me anyways. Kim had been bringing it up on and off for the last few months, and a few weeks ago when she came over to stay, she dropped the bomb on me that supposedly Mike was cheating with her.
Suspicious.
At first, I felt really numb. I cried, I screamed, I berated her, and drove to Mike's house at 2 o'clock in the morning. She had shown me texts on WhatsApp with his name, and it was very clearly cheating. They had been together for 6 months. He would meet her on Mondays to have lunch. When he told me he usually has lunch with his parents, they apparently snuck out on New Year's Eve to fool around. I did lose sight of both of them at one point at that party, but found him with his friends later. I confronted him in this hysterical state, and he just looked confused. He kept denying until the end. When I left, he was still denying everything. I don't use WhatsApp, but he used to. However, because of family problems, basically group chat issues, it seems, he deleted it 2 months ago, so he had no way of proving to me he didn't cheat unless calling his parents to confirm. But at that point, judging from his reaction, I already believed he didn't cheat.
I don't know, dude. That sounds like you're coping to me.
Yeah,
To
a
me,
little
that
bit of
sounds like-
coping.
I don't want the truth.
Yeah.
Because that's how you'd if you talk to his parents and you're like, so have you been having lunch with Mike every Monday? And they go, no. Then you know that that's true.
But I also couldn't believe Kim would lie. She has been my best friend for years. She always had my back. I would have trusted her with my life. That night we called her. She had left shortly after her confession, in which she cried like a real culprit, and Mike confronted her, but she kept to her story. She told him to admit it, that she couldn't continue anymore, couldn't do this to me, etc. They just kept arguing, and I asked her if she ever slept at her place at one point, and she said he did on a date where he was supposed to go meet his friends in a neighboring city 4 months ago. But turns out that weekend in question, he was indeed supposed to go, but chose to stay with me as I was having some issues.
Oh, Kim's a liar. Oh, somehow Kim is tapped into their schedule.
Yeah.
And like has their Google calendar.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah. We spent that weekend together, and I really don't think he snuck out of the house at night. I also slept while holding him tightly, and I would have felt if he had moved.
She's like, yeah, I had the master locks on that guy. I was wrapped up.
So her story didn't check out. I told her that, and she says she must have confused the dates. Apart from the text, she still has no other proof.
Now it's super suspicious. super suspicious to be, oh, I guess I mixed up the dates. Convenient that you picked the date that he was supposed to be completely out of town and you could have said he did whatever, but instead he wasn't. He was with me.
She seemed really hurt that I wouldn't trust her, but there's a big hole in hers. Well, except from the WhatsApp being deleted, there is nothing else that is suspicious for him. His texts with her are normal, basic comrade stuff and have been for a month. I can't go further up on his phone to retrieve texts. They are not deleted. It's just like that for some reason.
Hey, comrade, what are you eating for lunch today? I'm having standard gruel. Yes, thank you very much.
Now, Kim and I don't speak to each other anymore. Mike is beyond furious at her, and I am confused. I believe my boyfriend, but I just can't wrap my head around the idea that Kim would lie to me like that. And for what? She is good friends with Mike, too. It's not as if she disliked him. A small part of me wonders if I did not clear the wrong person, but really Mike would have to win an Oscar if he can feign innocence so well. I know my last option is for him to get his mom to confront him, but at this point, I wonder if it is really necessary to drag her in our problems. There are his friends too, but as much as I trust Mike, if he really did cheat, those guys would protect him and lie until the very end.
Okay, well, at least OP's smart enough to know that the homies will have his back, even if he is being nefarious in some cases. But get the mom involved. What are you talking about? I don't understand this. It would be the final nail in the coffin of like, yeah, I literally talked to his parents, and they're like, yeah, we're having lunch with him on Mondays.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's
just go ahead and confirm that part.
Literally all you need to confirm. You don't even need to make it a big deal.
I could also contact Kim and verify it's his number listed on WhatsApp, but I don't think Mike would appreciate it after the scene I caused that night. Also, she could change it right back to his name. He was more concerned and understanding than mad, but that's because Kim was my best friend and he could see how I could take her words for the truth. But would someone really invent months of conversation just to break up a relationship?
Yes.
What was she doing texting herself? Am I right to believe him? Am I being blinded by my feelings? I know there isn't a clear question, but in this situation, what is the next step for me? Get some more facts. Get your investigating eyes on this. Get your girlfriends involved if they're bored. Figure out who to believe, who not to believe. Just check some more boxes before you.
Dude, I'm putting Kim on
conclusion.
blast. I don't know. I'm not getting any more facts from anybody. I think talking to your boyfriend is like you've got enough facts, and it's like the final thing is that you need to figure out how she got hooked into your schedules, because she somehow knows or knew when he was gone, when he would have been gone. So I don't know how she did that. It's common for people who are like besties or whatever. It's like, or I wouldn't say common, but it's definitely, I've heard it before where, someone who's like one of your closest friends is like scheming against you and your partner. I kind of had a similar situation. It wasn't really like a cheating situation, but it was like somebody was like low key trying to like plant little seeds to break us up and stuff. And it's like, why? We're all friends. Why would you do that? And it's just because, I want to spend more time with you, or I want this person, or like there's different reasons, but that proximity can create hostility sometimes.
So I'm updating so I can leave this story behind and move on. After reading all the answers, I just decided to verify if he really does have lunch with his parents on Mondays, and ended up doing almost everything proposed. This morning, I called his mom to ask if I could join them today, and she was exalted. I didn't tell him I was coming, and he was really happy to see me there. Oh, nice. We had lunch at his parents' house, which is where they usually eat, and in the end, I managed to verify without going behind his back and alerting his parents. At one point during lunch, I said, "It's awesome how you guys do this every Monday as a tradition," or something like that, and his mom kept going on about how it was a way for them to catch up with each other. They, him, and his siblings are all so busy all the time, and to share some fun family time. She laminated the fact that his older sister often couldn't make it to her lunch because of her unpredictable schedule. I got invited to join the tradition, but declined since this is their time to be with their son, and I don't want to intrude on that. Honestly, it felt really comfortable, and I felt like a part of his family, so I had a great time. Mike indeed does have lunch with them every Monday. So we went there, we're good. We decided to clear his name once and for all this afternoon, and he downloaded WhatsApp again on his phone. The last messages he exchanged with her were from 3 months ago. Maybe some got deleted automatically. They barely communicated through WhatsApp. I did not see any holes in the conversation, and most were about me like, have you seen Mike and Vic? She's not answering her phone. Stuff like that. On her phone, there was a profile picture when she showed me the text, but his was blank, and he said he never put one there, which is weird, but that's his type. She tends to contact him first, but she just does that to everyone anyway, so there was nothing flirty, just hello, hey. When we were finished, he asked me if I was feeling a lot better now, and just to come to him if I have any other doubts. And guys, if you have any doubts in life, here's how you solve that. 1, go to your favorite podcast platform. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. 2, search up OK Storytime. And 3, all of your doubts will go away the second you press play on your favorite podcast.
Yeah. No doubts for 1,200 plus hours.
That's right.
Is that as long as One Piece?
That's as long as my piece.
Hey, whoa. Okay. This is good. I think the reluctance to immediately involve the people who could undeniably tell you whether or not your friend was full of crap, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. I guess the dynamic with parents can be hard. It's like, so if you come to that and they're like, oh, what, do you not trust my son? And blah, 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 blah. It could theoretically start like another different issue.
Yeah.
But like, you know, you can do it you can figure out how to do it a little low key. You don't need to be like, I need to know if Mike's cheating on me. Is he eating dinner with you or lunch with you every Monday?
It was pretty slick on this one. I'm not going to lie. This one was pretty slick. This afternoon, he reminded me why I am so attached to him with this care. He didn't get defensive at any time. He just left me with his phone as I was still searching. Tried the GPS thing. Nothing came out of it. When he went to buy some cake with his mom, he teased about putting a key lodger on his phone. I feel reassured and hope Kim will stay away from us now. A part of me wonders why she did invent this whole story, but I would rather keep this question unanswered than to bring drama into my relationship again. Kim, what's up? What's up?
What happened?
Why are you making up stuff?
How long had that been going on? I think the consensus is she was either jealous of the guy or jealous of their relationship.
Also, everyone was 23 in this story.
That kind of makes more sense too. It's just like really young, petty jealousy.
My father-in-law's behavior is unbearable. I had to move out.
Kick that bear and behavior out right now.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors, but it's bear, behavior, and father. Hello, my husband, 28 male, myself, 27 female, and my stepson, 5 male. We're living on my father-in-law's property in a large trailer that we purchased to save money while we saved to buy a house. My father-in-law has lots of land. The arrangement was that we got to live in our trailer on the property and pay for the property's electricity. 3 households and a mechanic business run off the property. By the way, this comes from True Income 5727. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, we of course paid for our own heat, propane, groceries, etc. It was like living in a bigger style tiny home. I'm extremely grateful for the deal we had. We had saved hundreds of dollars every month, and I will always be grateful for the opportunity we had. I'm grateful for father-in-law and how he let us stay there, and I wish I didn't feel so angry towards him, but I do. And in my heart, I know the only way I will have peace in my life is by staying out of his. Some background info on father-in-law. He is someone who is very set in his traditional ways. Women should do all the cooking and cleaning, and the men should do all the outside work. He also works himself to the bone with outside work he finds and creates for himself. He also thinks everyone else should work themselves as hard as he does. He's always working, but not in a way of loving to work and it making him happy. He's miserable and cranky and complains about all the work he has to do. If I'm being honest, aside from needing to cut down firewood and cut the grass, the tasks he makes for himself are things that are a choice. He doesn't absolutely need to do them. He doesn't need to work himself miserable. He chooses to. I can sympathize. I really can. It's the way he was raised. It's how he earned his father's respect. Almost all of this could have been solved if he broke any of his generational trauma. But he says he knows what's wrong with him, so he doesn't need therapy. That's really funny because it's like if you were ill and you're like, I know that I have a broken arm, so I don't need a doctor.
I can wrap it with tape.
It's fine.
It'll be fine by tomorrow, and I'll take one of those Advils, and I'm good.
However, it's also the expectation he set up for his own children, my husband, his older brother, and younger sister. And he constantly is expecting and asking them to fill up any and all of their spare time to help him around the property. My sister-in-law, of course, was expected to do the inside jobs, cleaning the house, etc. If they were busy and unable to help, he was mad at them, made fun of whatever their plans were that they were doing. The only accepted excuse would be that they were already working extra hours for their jobs. By the time I was around, my brother-in-law had moved out, so he wasn't affected by any of this anymore. However, it created a lot of conflict for my husband and sister-in-law in their day-to-day lives. For my husband, he was trying to spend time with his family, my son and I, create memories, and be there to eat dinner with us, just to be there with the family he's created. Anytime my husband chose family time over extra work, he was the butt of all the jokes, and my father-in-law was genuinely mad at him. For example, in the summer, my husband told his dad he would help him with wood at some point this weekend. My husband spent Saturday out with our family, expecting to help father-in-law on Sunday. And when we returned home, we were in bed. My father-in-law called him and yelled at him for not being home that day, loudly, angrily, for a while. It caused us both a sleepless night full of anxiety. Most recently, my husband was doing dishes. I mean, dish gloves on, elbow deep in dishwater, and my father-in-law came into the trailer and asked for help. I already know what his take on this is going to be.
Oh, yeah.
My husband said as soon as he was done with the dishes, my father-in-law left and came back 5 minutes later and started saying that our dishes could wait and he needed help now. My father-in-law and his family are very outspoken in their opinions and views, even though they're sometimes discriminatory and don't align with basic human rights. This I can't sympathize with, and I can't stand this kind of speaking anywhere near my son. Yes, I said my son. I'm a full-time stepmom, meaning my son lives with us full-time, and he is very much my son, and I'm currently the only active mom he has in his life. If I'm being honest, I've had a sour taste in my mouth since over 3 years ago when my husband was filing for full custody of our son because Biomom is an active user and is a very unsafe person for our son to be around right now. Not forever. I know people can overcome their regular using, and there will always be room in our lives for Biomom if she gets better, which I think is very understandable and fair. You are the full-time mom right now.
You just want a healthy environment for the child.
My father-in-law said not to do it because it would be a waste of money, and he didn't think Biomom would ever sign. How can his grandchild's safety ever be something he says is a waste of money? We lived in the trailer for roughly 3 years. We stayed so long because we were given some decisions we had to make and decide. Very soon after moving there, my husband and I were offered to take over the main house and the property one day. My father-in-law has built his mom a 2-bedroom home on his property, and when she passes on, it was his intent to move into that and leave us the main house. That we would pay him rent for the main house, and when he passed, it would state in his will that all the money we put into the house would come back to us and we would be able to buy out his siblings. If that's true, pretty good deal.
I would say, yeah, I would just let his discriminatory remarks and everything, like, all right, just one ear out the other.
Yeah,
if
like,
that's
don't,
really what's the case.
Yeah,
so,
if
like,
this
what I have
is,
to put
but
up
get
with,
this in writing.
Yeah, if I have to put up with that, sure, give me the house and the property. I'll do that and not, have low contact.
The catch was that we weren't allowed to ever say anything to my husband's siblings. I told my sister-in-law the same day. We're actually best friends.
OP.
I'm confused. If OP's like saying like, oh, the father and, he had weird rules, or if OP just was like, I don't know, I'm going to tell her anyway. At the time, my husband was very excited about this, not the keeping things from his siblings part, but the opportunity to have his child at home part. He agreed it was something he would definitely like to consider and discuss further down the line. I was never very excited about the idea. For reasons listed above, and honestly so many more, I could write a frickin' book. But I stayed open to the idea, and my husband and I constantly went back and forth between what we wanted to do. Fast forward to August to September, I'd had enough. of the comments, of walking on eggshells, of my husband not being able to spend time with us without being given grief, just all of it. I was telling my husband we needed to just get out, rent a place. The plan could not be that we take over the property. I couldn't live in a constant state of anxiety. My husband and father-in-law got into a fight in September, and he told his dad we were looking for places to rent and we were moving out. He didn't say anything, didn't ask about it, nothing. Mid-October, we found a place and our move-in date was November 1st. My husband told father-in-law and everything went to crap. More to crap than before. Father-in-law had tears, grief, asked how we could do this to him. He was mad and sad. He then went and told his entire side of the family, and they're all mad at us. Everyone had negative and nasty things to say about us to us and behind our backs. Mad at us for moving out, for leaving father-in-law alone. I honestly still cannot wrap my head around it. Grown adults, mad at my little family for moving out on our own. My father-in-law, king of everyone needs to help him, never once offered to help us lift or move a thing, gave us the silent treatment the majority of the rest of the time we lived there. A heck of an experience getting to move into our first real place as a family. But honestly, if you could just get away from, it would have been nice to get the place, that he was offering, but if you have to deal with his kind of attitude and him
just being a negative person over you guys and
taking
day.
advantage of you saying, oh, well, I gave you this, I'm giving you this house, so you have to do what I say.
Yeah, my word goes.
Yeah.
Or you won't get the house.
Yeah. It's like, you don't want that to be held over you until the day he moves out. Like, we don't know when that is. It doesn't seem that he's written anything down, so you don't even know. Like, he might change his mind.
Oh, that's very true. I would get proof first. Yeah. Very true.
It was supposed to be an exciting time for us. We still made the best of it. I haven't spoken to father-in-law's siblings, and his mom, the main negative gossipers of our move, since we left. I didn't say goodbye. I didn't say I will no longer be coming around here. No word, just left. And I haven't been back to visit. I haven't attended any family dinners or gatherings. They've asked my husband why, and he's told them I'm hurt by their behavior. They called my sister-in-law to ask and to rant about us. And she's told them why I'm angry and told them to not talk to her about it. But you can talk to others about listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and tell other people to do that and search a Pokey Storytime. But there is a little bit left of the story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, if it's to the driving point, I said it earlier too when I said, it's one in one ear out the other. But if it's at that point where you can't even think.
Yeah, it's like you're just anxious all the time. It's not really worth it.
Yeah, he's opening the door in like a sitcom. Every time he's like, hey guys, stop whatever you're doing and follow what I say. You can't have a life.
He's Kramering it, except if Kramer was
a demon.
A demon, yeah. But there's a little bit left. They all sent lots of wishes to see me in hopes that I would come at Christmas, though through speaking to my husband. But I seriously don't want to be around them right now. Maybe ever again. Wow. Probably ever again. Wow. However, they do seem very hurt, and I do feel bad that I'm causing problems. Am I the a-hole for not saying anything before cutting them off? Do I owe my father-in-law an explanation? Am I being ungrateful and too sensitive in my decision? If you made it this far, I am truly grateful for your time. And that is the end of that story. I don't think you're necessarily the a-hole, but I think that you could have a conversation, or your husband could have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
The thing is, you might not see them anymore, but they're still going to be a part of your life, even if it's just kind of on the outskirts, because your husband's still communicating that with them, and your son is still going to be communicating with them.
Yeah.
So, I think maybe a conversation would be helpful, just to tell them, why you're upset with them, why you were hurt by their behavior.
I feel like the father-in-law is not going to have any part of it.
Yeah.
Just, he doesn't care. Whatever excuse you left.
Yeah.
That you made your decision. But I feel like just for, clarity and for your own sake, just put it out there. Hey, this is why we're leaving. We don't care if you don't want to hear it or not, or you're set on one mindset. This is why we're leaving. That's that.
And that's that. My husband left us while on a family vacation, so I filed for divorce.
Well, yeah, that seems like the next move.
Well, yeah. I am a 40s wife/mom, married over 10 years, and together 15 years with husband, 2 kids under 10. We both work relatively demanding jobs outside the home. Our families live 8+ hours drives or 2 to 4 hour flights away. By the way, this comes from Deleted, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, late last year, I planned a trip to see several longtime friends in a shared rented house over New Year's. We have taken this trip as a family before. I gave my husband the option to not join us, but he said he wanted to come. I handled all the logistics and financial aspects, including booking and obtaining a rental car, scheduling boarding for the family pet, doing laundry and packing items for myself and the kids, paying our family's share of the rental house, and coordinating and communicating with friends we planned to visit. I also did all the driving on the 500+ mile trip, as my husband dislikes driving, let their license expire, and has made no efforts to renew it. Yeah, what?
He's just like, I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Not
She's
a
like, we
fan.
have kids. Like, I can't drive all the time. He's like,
But
I don't like it.
It's icky to me.
On the day of the trip, I was up before dawn to finish getting things together, while my husband slept until 8 to 9 a.m. There were many tasks to handle before we could leave. Finish laundry and packing, take out trash, load the car with luggage and snacks, make breakfast for the kids and clean the kitchen, turn off Christmas lights, get the pet into its carrier, etc., before we could hit the road. Once my husband was awake, he handled his packing and contributed to family breakfast before sitting back while I ran around getting things done. I asked him to handle a few things, which he did reluctantly, and with exasperation before heading out to take a walk.
Oh, God.
We finally got on the road for what became a torturous drive. The normally 8 to 9 hour drive ended up being 13 hours due to traffic. It would have been a difficult journey to split between 2 drivers, but was even worse because all the driving was on me. I forgot.
Okay.
Again.
Okay.
Because he doesn't like driving.
Not cool.
Stop
Not
being a
cool.
baby.
Yeah.
Help your wife.
Come on.
It was so awful that I booked one-way flights home. It would be easy to return the rental car to the airport and take a short flight home versus driving the rental car back. The pain of the punishing road trip faded once our week-long trip with friends got underway. I thoroughly enjoyed seeing people I normally do not see and felt at ease with pretty much everyone except my partner. While these friends are also my partner's friends of 10 to 20 years and have been with us for life milestones, he sulked and acted antisocial towards me and others who he has been friendly with on previous occasions. He expressed on the drive down that he would need to do some work while we were on vacation and brought his laptop. I did not foresee this being an issue because many others we were with also did remote work, including a physician friend doing patient televisits, a creative friend working on a screenplay over Zoom, and a scientist calling in for meetings. A few days into the vacation, I received an email from the airline I'd booked flights with stating there had been a change to the itinerary. It appeared the flights had been changed to leave 3 days earlier than scheduled and from a different airport. I opened the email as I was sitting on a couch facing 2 friends on an opposite couch, and my husband was about 20 feet behind them on the other side of the room. I made a remark about it, thinking there was a glitch of some sort. And my husband said, "Oh, I did that." That being, changed his flight and his flight only to leave from the closest airport midway through the week to return home alone.
What? Wait, that's even crazier.
Yikes. I was blindsided, and it showed to the point that the couple facing me looked at me incredulously and mouthed, "WTF?"
Yeah.
I was in shock that he would make a unilateral decision to leave the kids and me midweek without telling me or making an effort to discuss with me first. I replied, "Thanks for telling me," to my husband and asked why. He basically said he was leaving to return home for work because he felt the house's internet connection wouldn't be sufficient for his work needs. I excused myself and immediately called my sister, who is also my best friend, to debrief. She validated that his actions were not appropriate, as did the friends who witnessed the interaction. As news spread throughout the house, our mutual friends also expressed disbelief for the situation. I didn't feel like I could confront my husband about it because even simple conversations between us can go sideways.
Oh, boy.
Pause. You need to confront your husband about it
Yeah.
before he leaves. Yeah, it's like if you cannot communicate, you either have to go to therapy and figure that out,
Right.
or the relationship cannot continue. But either
Yeah.
way, gotta have a conversation. Historically, he is passive and offers minimal responses. Okay, sounds good. Or escalates the issue to 11 and shows rage in his eyes and body language. He has never been physically violent with me, but the unpredictability of his rage response has left me feeling like I'm walking on eggshells when I need to raise an issue. Relationship cannot work like this. It
Not
can
safe.
if this is how he if this is how he is approaching it, it cannot work like this.
Yeah.
A few hours passed and he brought our kids into the house in wet swimsuits. When I finished getting them showered and changed, he appeared in the room we were sharing for a moment. As he was walking out, I approached him with the wet swimsuits and said assertively and somewhat heatedly, "Can you please take these outside?" He responded, "You could ask me that nicely." I clapped back, "You could have told me you were leaving early. I'm done." We didn't speak after that, though my older child came to me to tell me they knew he was leaving.
What?
This hit me on a deep level because I am a child of divorced parents who use me to deliver information to each other. I found it beyond effed up that my husband would talk to a school-aged child about his plans, but not their mom/his wife. Yes, absolutely. But also, you are doing a somewhat similar thing with everyone else in the house. You're not talking to him about it.
That's a good point.
Like, again, like totally more messed up to talk to your kids about it.
Sure.
But you're both just not talking to each other. Even though there were plenty of kids around, I took our kids to my family's house for New Year's Eve so that we could stay up late and be carefree with friends. I distanced myself from my husband, who got really wasted and acted like he had undergone a personality transplant. I was told he took mushrooms. He left the next day with a simple goodbye and didn't bother to tell many others in the house he was on his way out, including one of his best friends from college.
Dude.
The kids and I were fine for the remainder of the trip. I am used to handling things anyway. However, those who remained and are close to me were disgusted by my husband's behavior and stated that he was selfish at minimum or a self-absorbed person, worst case scenario. Disclosures and side notes: I struggle with ADHD and I'm often overwhelmed. He often expresses nonverbal annoyance and exasperation towards me, but does not verbally communicate it. There is a lot of tension and our relationship hasn't been in a good place for many years now. We are more like roommates who co-parent and no longer sleep in the same room. Our marriage lacks physical and emotional intimacy, and I have long wondered if he's cheating, which he denies, or attracted to the same gender. Driving, we live in a large city and he gets around using mass transit and Uber. It's a point of contention between us because all the driving for kids/family activities falls on me when something happens outside of a transit Uber convenient area. The imbalance has also been felt when I have needed to seek medical care. Oh, great point. You don't have anyone who could drive you home.
That's true.
I drove myself to the hospital in labor
Oh my gosh.
and had to recruit a relative to fly in and help me because he couldn't be the one to transport me when I needed surgery last year.
Someone's gonna fly in because you just don't like driving. That's crazy.
You just can't rely on this partner.
No.
We often do not see eye to eye on many matters. He can be rigid and immature and seems to lack empathy. Communication is a major problem in our relationship. Last year, I asked him to begin couples therapy, and we had a handful of sessions with a Gottman therapist that were not productive. The main takeaways were that my husband stonewalls and shows contempt and criticism while I exhibit defensiveness. The New Year's event came on the heels of me having a lumpectomy late last year. He was not supportive and barely asked me how I was feeling or how he could support me as I went through months of diagnostic visits to determine if I had breast cancer. Ultimately, the surgically removed tissue was benign. Good. My coworkers, immediate family, and close friends were there for me, but it stung that he was so absent and uncaring as I faced a possible cancer diagnosis. I called him out on it during our final session with our previous couples therapist, and he said that he didn't ask about it because he thought the information I provided him was too clinical.
Huh?
What does that even mean? He's like, you used too many big words, so I didn't want to hear about it. I'm not a doctor. I don't understand all your fancy lingo.
Like, what? That's just so mind-boggling to me.
Weird. At this time, he did not apologize when I called him out on a trend of him not stepping up for me when I needed support and instead issued his standard non-apology. Sorry you feel that way. We are starting discernment therapy this week. I have remained in this marriage mostly to avoid breaking up the family, but it feels like there is no coming back from this. He seems to have no idea that I'm considering separation or divorce, and I haven't said anything to him because I'm afraid of how he will respond. I have a therapist who is aware of all of this and is tremendously supportive, but wants to reach out to others to see if anyone has experienced similar issues and how they handled it. Any words of wisdom? And I have some words of wisdom for you guys, and that is that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Oh yeah, so smart.
Oh yeah, so wise.
So wise, man.
But there is a final update to the story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, I've never been in this situation.
No.
I don't have kids, don't have a husband.
That's true.
So I unfortunately cannot contribute in that way. But I support you in the idea of divorcing, you know?
It seems like, kind of shockingly, OP hasn't really brought that up in like a real way.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of just going based off of the title.
But it seems like OP has yet to actually say, I want a divorce. But it does seem right now, you're not able to have a conversation with him. He's not willing to listen, even if you were.
Right.
You went to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to sit down and say, like, right now, the way that we're going, it isn't working. Like, you're not communicating with me when you want to leave a trip, when you want to change plans.
It's a huge thing. Huge thing.
I feel like you're, like, right now, I feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
With how much responsibility is being put on me with the kids, because I'm the only driver. And just kind of focusing on the things that you're feeling. Like, I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling unheard. I
good old I statements.
Yeah, exactly. And if he responds to that with like anger, aggression, then it settles
shows you what you need to do.
But yeah, don't go into that conversation with aggression. We met with a couples therapist and I shared these concerns. He accused me of character assassination and smearing him when I recounted those events, how they made me feel, how they were perceived by our friends. We're getting divorced. Thanks to everyone for your objective feedback. You collectively galvanized me to move in this difficult but necessary direction.
Wow. There you
that
go.
is the end of that story.
There you go.
But
so they are going to get divorced.
Yeah. Which, I mean, honestly makes sense with how much the communication had broken down.
Yeah. It's not much of a like relationship at this point.
No.
They're just kind of existing next to each other.
For everyone, who may be in a similar situation where the communication is not working, you still have to have a conversation about that. And, if you need a person to mediate, like you want to be communicating as much and as early as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure, like, pick up on those signs of how people respond to criticism, how people respond to you talking about your feelings, talking about if you're overwhelmed,
Right.
Because those could be indicators of how they will respond in a marriage when you have kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
My sister-in-law installed nanny cameras after I volunteered to babysit.
I need to know what your visual profile is.
Well, my wife used to get our niece ready and take her to daycare every Friday since she was off and her sister had to be at work at 6:30. Daycare didn't open until 7. My wife's work schedule changed and she could no longer do it. So I offered to change my schedule to start work at 10. We have been doing this for around 4 months. My sister-in-law has voiced no concerns, and when she calls, I always answer. Okay. By the way, this comes from Inner Rutabaga 2055, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So we recently found out about the installed cameras in her house. When my wife brought it up, she told her, "You never know." Which
is fair. That's fair.
Extremely fair.
It's actually kind of unfortunately fair.
I will be honest. I was taken aback because she has had no complaints in the past, but now she wants to have cameras because you never know. My wife did ask her sister if I had anything if I had done anything that would make her concerned or worried. She said no, but mentioned it was a safety issue. Once again, she told my wife with the classic, "You never know."
Okay, so she is saying that OP is a safety issue.
Yes, that's what it seems.
Okay.
Like.
Okay.
That's what we're able to put together. At this point, I told my wife I didn't want to go into her house. I didn't feel comfortable being in a home or around her daughter if she is that concerned.
I don't know if I agree with that take, dude. You look guilty.
Oh, that is true.
I don't know if I would do that. I'd be like, I get being offended where it's like, what you feel you need to install cameras, but now you're like, well, I won't go back. You look like you're scared of the cameras, buddy.
It does look a little bit like that. I can't lie. Now, my wife agrees it's weird. Also, considering I have known her sister for over 16 years, others think I am blowing it out of proportion, but I don't like how she assumes the worst of me because I am male. She told my wife that she had no concerns when she was doing it about OP.
So when wife was babysitting, no need for cameras.
Yeah, no need for cameras. Am I the a-hole? Has no consensus. OP was not voted the a-hole, and we have some relevant comments. But yeah, just roll quick. And I think this is maybe a conversation I think the wife has to have because that's her sister, right? I believe. So it's like, hey, like what about husband? What about OP made you uncomfortable? I don't know, maybe there's really something there. I don't know. Like
it's like you can assume that she's like, I don't trust your husband, like, you know, and so I needed to get these cameras because I don't know what he's capable of or what he would do to my kid. Or you could be like, she probably watched a true crime documentary this past weekend, and now she's like, well, you never know. It could be anybody. So it's like,
a good theory.
It's probably, it could have something to do completely outside of yourself.
Yeah.
And then you being like, well, no, now I won't watch the kids because I'm offended that the cameras are in the house and you would think that of me. It's just going to make everything more contentious when if you would have just done what you were going to do anyway that you had no problem with, which was just babysitting the kid, like, it'd probably be fine.
Going into our relevant comments, how did OP find out about the cameras? OP says, as for how I found out, I saw them, which is why my wife asked about them. Commenter number 1 says, I think you are taking it too personally. In this day and age, no one can ever really be too safe. If you otherwise have a good relationship with sister-in-law and niece, this isn't really worth tanking the relationship over. Maybe share with sister-in-law that you wish she had informed you if the cameras, as if it was a breach of privacy, but she hasn't accused you of anything, so she isn't slighting your character. OP says, to me, the action of installing the camera is a blow. That, I think, is not the move, but we'll talk about that later. My wife has been babysitting and doing this for years, and she has no need for cameras or safety concerns, but with me, she suddenly has the urge. That hurts a lot, and it's hard to not take it personally. She even told my wife, you never know, which means she thinks a part of me is capable of hurting my niece. That hurts a lot.
Brother, you're writing it guilty. You're writing it like, I can't believe they'd think that, and for this reason, I'll never go back while the cameras are there.
I mean, I don't think he's guilty.
Me either.
He's just like butthurt, and I'm just like, dude, like this is somebody's child, and like you said, maybe they watched some true crime documentary, and they're just like their mind is going crazy, and their anxiety is going bananas, and they just got like who knows? Like honestly, I feel it's kind of hard for me to fault someone doing something for the protection of their child, especially if it's like that. OP on how he is feeling about the cameras after he started to help with his niece. OP says, I'm worked up because my wife has watched her niece for years, did the whole getting her ready for daycare for years. My sister-in-law never once installed cameras. I come into the picture and now she's all of a sudden she's concerned. There's part of me that gets that she waited so long and told my wife you never know. That hurts. Means a part of her thinks I am a risk. A downvoted commenter says, what's so uncomfortable about a woman protecting her home, or anyone for that matter? I'm actually concerned for your wife, because if my significant other had this reaction, I'd be pausing majorly. OP says, think you are missing my point. If this was a general safety thing, she would have done this a lot sooner. She also would not have told my wife it was because you never know. Even my wife was taken aback by her sister's response and reasoning. As stated, if I had any doubts or thoughts a person was capable of causing harm, I would not let them into my house, let alone have them be around my children alone. That is how I would have handled this. Commenter number 2 said, you are making a big assumption. Maybe the you never know is about a home invasion or some other crime that could happen. You assuming it has anything to do with you or wanting to quit over it kind of makes it seem like you are worried about them. As Decoder said, he said that. OP responds, my wife did ask if she had any concerns or worries, but she told her you never know. If I hear You never know. One more time, I am going to do something drastic. It is not a leap. This is what she told my wife. And yes, my wife was taken aback when she told her reasoning also. If this was a general safety issue, she had years to do it. My wife has been doing what I have been doing for years prior. We have an update that is 4 days later. And this also happened semi-recently as well. But Dakota, do we think OP is a little off the mark or a little bit, or maybe a little too personal?
Open your mind to the possibility that this has nothing to do with you. And then just move through your life believing that until you're told otherwise.
On to this update. I do appreciate the feedback and differing perspectives. I did speak with my sister-in-law with my wife, and to say the least, it was enlightening. I did ask my sister-in-law why the sudden urge to install the cameras. As she told my wife, she said it was for safety purposes since...
You never know.
You never know.
You just never know.
My wife did push back and asked her to elaborate as to what she meant. My sister-in-law tried to avoid answering directly, but my wife kept pushing, and finally she did admit that she was not comfortable with me changing her daughter unsupervised. At this point, I asked my sister-in-law if she truly felt I would harm her daughter. She honestly shrugged her shoulders. This annoyed me, but it did piss off my wife.
As she should be, I think, mad. Everyone's going about this the wrong way. All right. You know, the sister-in-law is like making it like a thing where she's like, yeah, your husband's a predator. Like, and it's like, why are we doing this? And then the husband's being like, well, I refuse to go in the house. It's like, no, you freaking look like one. Yeah. What? Come on, guys.
Let's get it together. My wife once again pushed the issue, and it turns out my sister-in-law was never comfortable with me watching her daughter and felt betrayed by my wife because she changed up an arrangement that worked. And she said I was far too eager to change my work schedule to take over Fridays, and it came off as insistent. I told her, yes, I was insistent because I do not want my wife to give up an opportunity because she felt beholden to an arrangement that she made with her. Yeah, it was a work thing. So like he's like, hey, I want to help my wife so she can do all the work stuff she needs to do.
Right.
After that exchange, I told my sister-in-law I would no longer take her daughter to daycare. This happened on Wednesday. She took off last Friday. So long story short, she never wanted me to watch her daughter unsupervised, found it strange how eager I was to rearrange my Fridays to be with my niece. My wife family is thinking that I am being weird and creepy. Oh, so the family is agreeing with the sister-in-law that he's like being a weirdo.
You look at this creepy weirdo who wants to babysit his own niece. Ugh. Ew, gross.
Disgusting.
I hate all of my nieces. Add it to the list. I hate nieces.
Now, my wife had one last final conversation with her sister on Friday, and apparently it got ugly since my sister-in-law did call to apologize, and I did appreciate that, but I told her you either trust me or you don't. Since she does not, I did recommend she find someone that she does trust so that way she can be at ease. She tried to give me a sob story about how we are being unfair towards her. All she was trying to do was keep her daughter safe. I told her the best way for her to do that was to find someone else who she trusts to handle her Fridays or to change her job schedule, which, I mean, I think he basically said like, hey, like find someone you trust, Yeah,
I think that's where we're at.
Yeah. And yeah, 100%.
It's like, all right, dude, you think I'm going to do that? I will not babysit my own niece, and you can hire a babysitter who's a stranger.
Yes.
That's a better solution.
I was going to originally offer, as some suggested, that she brings her daughter to us before she heads to work. But after that conversation, I decided it was best for everyone that I took a step back. I don't know what will comes of this in terms of the family, since most think that I'm being unreasonable, but my wife and I agree that if she is not comfortable with me, then it is not our duty to make her comfortable. Fair enough. Thanks again. By the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories exactly like this one. If you're enjoying this right now, why are you not going to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeart and searching OK Storytime? I don't understand. Oh, we have a second update. There's actually a big chunk of juice left here.
Oh, how much juice we have?
Like a good 30%.
We got 30% juice left? Let's freaking go. I know where I stand. I think everyone knows where I stand.
Yeah.
We know where, I think we're all in agreement.
I think,
here
like basically in summation, OP was kind of, it's like, hey, people can have cameras, and if she wants to do that, then let her, whatever. Don't take it so personally. And then sister-in-law, it's like, hey, look, like this is probably it's too much. You've known him for 16 years. I don't know. If anything, why not talk to the sister about it? Like, I don't know, something like that. Like, if anything, wouldn't you not want to give it to sister because you're worried that then he's then closer to the baby or something like that, I did want to point out that as many have said, yeah, my wife is awesome, some have asked why I'm not upset. I am upset, but more so hurt. Not just because of what was said about me, but more so because of the situation will forever alter relationship we have with the family. And I know that hurts my wife a lot. That does suck, and that is unfair. We love our niece, but I know my wife and her have a special bond. That is her godchild. So I am more so hurt that I created a rift that will probably never be mended. And we do have some quick top comments. Opie's thoughts in the aftermath of the situation. I am upset, but it's being overshadowed by the hurt. I have known sister-in-law for 16 years, and it's been a major blow to think that she is afraid of me because I'm a guy. Commenter number 1 says, this is just so awful. I'm sorry. Just to brace you, she or the extended family might jump to the unreasonable conclusion that if you're not willing to help out because of the cameras, then you must have been doing something that you don't want seen. To Dakota's point,
that's not why he doesn't want to do this. It's clear the reason is just because of like the principle of the like accusation, or not accusation, but like it's like, if that's what you think of me, I now don't feel like I don't know you.
Yeah,
and like
it changes the relationship forever.
Then I feel weird if you feel weird, so I don't want to do this.
Yeah. But to your earlier point, it does kind of come off as like
optically can look pretty bad.
Yeah, the optics are pretty bad. Be prepared for the accusation. Explain that what changed wasn't the cameras, it was that you learned how she sees you. You thought she'd appreciate you inconveniencing yourself to make her life easier, and instead she assumed horrible things about you. Yeah. You aren't interested in helping someone who doesn't respect you, and you're not willing to risk your own safety if she's willing to jump to such conclusions without reasonable cause. Opie says they already have. That is what hurts the most, because this will forever alter the relationship we have with their family. Commenter number 2 says, good for you and your wife. She stuck up for you, and you are holding your boundaries. This is on sister-in-law to fix the dynamic. If she doesn't trust you, then you never need to be involved with helping care for her kids. She is an adult and can figure her crap out for herself. And commenter number 3 says, if your wife's family thinks you're being weird and creepy, all the more reason to avoid contact with them. And then commenter number 4 says, not the a-hole. She basically thinks that you're a creep, but still expecting you to do her a favor. You set up a boundary after being disrespected, and somehow you're the weird one? Nah, if she doesn't trust you, she can find someone else to deal with the consequences. And just to end this off, just to close this out. Yeah, any quick closing thoughts on the story here?
There was that line about family jumping to conclusions and stuff. It's like, that feels like clearly way overboard of what needed. But it's like, I wonder what else is there. What was the thing that made her go, this guy's creepy and I don't trust him? Right? Because I'm sure there's other men in the family that are allowed to look after the niece.
We don't know that.
At this point, I'm almost positive, because it really feels like, after everything that was said, it was just because like, well, if you're not going to babysit my kid, then I am going to have to put cameras in the house because your husband's going to be watching her.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why are there, because you never know what your husband might do. And it's like, again, that's not unfair, but it's more just like the switch up, I think, made OP just be like, well, if that's how we're rocking, then I'm also uncomfortable, because I don't want to babysit your kid if you think I would do that. So I don't know. Everything just kind of fell apart there.
It sure did.
If OP could have just, and it's not always the most reasonable thing, but if OP could have just gone, I don't really care. Ooh, you think I'm a creep? I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and babysit your daughter. And now the proof that I'm not a creep will be on camera, I guess. I don't care.
Point blank period.
Sometimes you got to care less.
Sometimes you got to care less.
Unfortunately, it's hard to know when.
That's right.
I've been married to my husband for a month, and I just found out he's having an affair with my sister.
Short marriage, long month.
I've been in shock since I found out. We've been married for a month.
Aye.
He's been having the affair with my sister since before we got engaged back in November.
Aye.
My sister is 8 months pregnant.
Ooh.
Her husband was the one who discovered the affair, and he is divorcing her. He had to get a test done on the advice of his aunt, who is a solicitor, to make sure their 1.5-year-old son was his child. But my sister doesn't yet know if her husband or my husband is the father of her baby.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia!
Here we go again.
By the way, this comes from user Off My Chest Throwaway 276, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I will be seeking a divorce, even though my husband wants us to go to counseling and stay married. Well, good job. I'm an advocate, a barrister, which is some sort of English law stuff. So I won't have any trouble finding a solicitor at least. The law only takes adultery into consideration as to why the marriage broke down and not for how the assets are divided or settled. However, at least I will not have to pay him support since we were only married for a month before I moved out of our flat. I will never speak to my sister again, no matter how much she begs me to forgive her, and I'm not staying married to my husband, no matter how much he begs me to stay. I don't believe either of them when they say they are sorry, not one bit.
And I wouldn't believe them either. I said it before and I'll say it again. She lied to you for 9 months.
Yeah, dude.
9 months.
She's been lying.
Lying. Why are you always lying?
She's always walking around with those hot pants on because they're on fire. We have some comments here before we get into the update. Comment 1, I'm so sorry for their betrayal. I would never speak to her ever again either. Comment 2, since you've only been married for a month, is an annulment an option? So sorry for what you're going through. Sis and hubby are both trash. Commenter 3, they are only sorry they got caught. OP, this is one of the worst ways to be cheated on. F them both. You are better than them. I hope the kid is your husband's so that you and your ex-brother-in-law don't have to be tied to these losers anymore. Number 4, OP, the law may limit your legal entitlements. However, the threat of exposure in alleging adultery and the publication of his and your sister's adulterous acts may cause his willingness to provide you a stipend or settlement in excess of the customary entitlement. Absent that, blow them both up with family, friends, acquaintances, and social media. Both merit the absolute worst. Good luck to you. Please keep us apprised. And we do have an update 10 months
Whoa, 10 months later. So baby born. Baby Bjorn.
Potentially.
I'm really hoping that OP is like doing great in freaking, I don't know, Fiji, living life, has 2 hotties on either arm, and not even thinking about her sister or that pathetic excuse of a man.
Update. People who say you should get over it when someone cheats on you have no idea what it's like. Last June, I, female 37, found out my husband, male 39, was having an affair with my 27-year-old sister.
Yeah.
I had been married for a month. The affair began before I was engaged. My sister's husband, male 27, was the one who first found out. When it was discovered, my sister was about 8 months pregnant with a baby girl, and it turned out my ex-husband is the father.
Yeah, I mean, they said that she was 8 months pregnant, and I think they said the affair began like 9 months ago.
Yeah, that timing is timing up.
Not looking good for them. And clearly proven right.
Apparently, he was furious when he found out because he didn't want children.
Too freaking bad. OP didn't want a cheating husband, so, you know.
My ex-husband and I met in an online dating group for people who don't want children or to date people who have children from former relationships. My ex-husband and my sister both begged me to forgive them. My sister said she can't help it, that she fell in love with him, and my ex-husband said he couldn't be blamed for what happened.
Wow, they're doing a really bad job at asking for forgiveness.
Yeah. They're like, can you forgive us because it's entirely not our fault?
They're like, we couldn't help it.
And it's, yeah.
What was I supposed to do? Forgive me. I'm not apologizing, but forgive me.
I'm begging. I couldn't believe they thought what they did could be forgiven and forgotten. My ex-husband didn't want a divorce, and neither did my sister from my former brother-in-law.
Who cares what you guys want?
Yeah. OP says, guess what? I'm divorced now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Shock.
as you should be. I'm an advocate known as a barrister in the rest of the UK, so I was fortunate to already know the best solicitors who could represent me in my divorce. Since I was only married for a month before I sought a divorce and moved out of our flat, I did not have to pay my ex-husband maintenance, and the divorce did not take long. It's a different story for my sister and my former brother-in-law. They were married for longer. They own property and they have a son together who was 17 months old when the affair was discovered. My sister may end up having to pay spousal and child maintenance since she earns more. Their divorce is ongoing. I haven't spoken with my former brother-in-law since I first left my ex-husband, but I feel badly for him. He was devastated when he found out about the affair and the baby not being his child. He didn't deserve any of that. People who say you should just get over it when someone cheats, you have no idea what you're talking about. I have never felt pain like this before. It wasn't even just emotional, it was physical as well. I'm still heartbroken over this. I had no idea anything could hurt so much. I'm going to start seeing a counselor, but it doesn't feel like enough. I haven't seen or spoken to my ex-husband since I moved out of our flat. The only contact during the divorce was through our solicitors. He doesn't exist to me, and neither does my sister. I haven't seen or spoken to my sister since shortly after I left my ex-husband, and I never want to see her again. She, for all intents and purposes, does not exist. I don't think I'll ever heal from this. Well, we're definitely really hurt.
Absolutely.
We're in a lot of pain and it hurts real bad.
And hope you just know you will heal.
Yeah.
It's going to take a long time and you're always going to have like a part of that with you,
Yeah.
but it's a part that's going to protect you and it's going to kind of help you learn and
You're Gandalf now.
and spot some of these red flags maybe in the future, but it will heal just slowly.
You're just not going to be the same
Not gonna be the same person.
Just a little different. I'm fortunate my parents, my other sister, and most of my family support me and have disowned my traitorous sister and no longer have contact with her. Anyone who tells me I should forgive her or chooses her over me gets removed from my life with no second chance. I don't ever want to hear anything about either one of them again. From what my ex-husband's solicitor said during my divorce, they, the sister and my ex-husband, plan to marry after she is granted a divorce. Okay, cool.
Oh man.
Are we not rocking with that, right? I'm not rocking with that.
Oh man. But maybe they're like, oh, but we're having a baby.
Oh, yeah. They're like, it's so exciting. What an exciting time.
Well, it might not even be like, oh, the excitement. It might just be like, we have to get married because we're having a baby.
But can you imagine just the veneer over it of everyone being like, we're so excited. We're having a baby. Oh, how do we get pregnant? I'll tell you later. I'll tell you when the kid's 15.
I'll tell you when you're older. You're like, I'm 35. I'll tell you when you're older.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything about either one of them since then. I try not to even think about either of them. They were two of the people I loved most in the world, and they did something that I'll never heal from. They are selfish, and they destroyed me, and anyone who says I should get over this or forgive and forget has no idea what it is like. And we have some comments here. Comment 1, thank you for the update. You and your brother-in-law are both making the best possible decision. You're right. Your ex and your ex-sister are horrible, selfish people. They hurt so many, and do whatever you can to protect your peace and mental health. I'm so sorry they did this to you. Honestly, I'd recommend blocking anyone who says you need to forgive them and move on. No, you don't. You may at some point in the future need to explore forgiveness from the point of view of easing the weight on your heart. Were we all paying attention? That's what we do. But process it at your own rate. But I think we should do that like real fast as possible. Lessen the weight in your own heart space. Don't feel pressured to offer forgiveness to either of them.
Nope.
I wish you the best of luck in the future. Commenter 2, guarantee the only reason sister's marrying the ex at this point is because he's all she has and she's been disowned by the entire family. It's a marriage of convenience. Something tells me that's going to be one toxic relationship, as I'm sure there'll be resentment there from both of them, and they'll have no one to blame but themselves. All I can say for the ex who never wanted kids, karma. While I feel for the kid, I hope the kid doesn't grow up with parents that resent him. They don't deserve that. Commenter 3, I'm so sorry. Never mind your ex. What a betrayal from your own sister. Couldn't even imagine. Number 4, do something really special for yourself, like a trip, an activity, a shopping spree, whatever it is. You deserve whatever small joys you can find. As much as it hurts, think about them together. Her just having had a baby and he gets distant or angry or aloof. She will forever be looking over her shoulder wondering if he's cheating. She deserves to live in that misery. They might stay together, but they'll be miserable. And by the way, you'll never be miserable.
No,
if you take your thumbs and you mosey on over to your podcast platform of choice.
Take them over.
Be it Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts. And you just use those little thumbs and you go boop, boop, beep, boop, bop, boop,
Use
boop,
those
boop.
little digits.
And that's me searching OK Story Time.
It might be a little bit hard to use just your thumbs.
I type with my thumb exclusively.
With your thumbs?
Exclusively. On my phone.
Hold on. I'm genuinely blanking on how I use my phone.
Just
I
pretend.
might
You
text.
use the second hand to support it, and then
Okay,
you
okay,
use your
okay.
thumbs.
Oh, no, I do use my thumbs. Everyone, it's fine. Yeah, I do. Sorry, I just forgot how I do it. I use my thumbs.
I'm going to trade you. Here, you can take this
Okay.
one. I'll take that
Confirmed,
one. Because that
I
was
use
the
my
end of that
thumbs.
story. That is the end of that story.
My friend lied about us having an affair. My boyfriend refused to believe me.
With friends like these, who needs enemies?
I want to start off by saying that I realize how messed up a situation this is, and I understand why my boyfriend would be upset and even suspicious. But I can't believe he doesn't trust me. By the way, this comes from Going Crazy 123456. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I've been with my boyfriend, Paul, for 3 years. In the beginning of our relationship, Paul had some issues with trust. He had been cheated on in the past. I made it clear right away that I had never cheated on anyone, that I would not, and that I understood if he had trust issues from the past, but that it was a deal breaker for me to be with someone who couldn't trust me. He has, since those early days, been really good about it. Throughout our 3 years together, I think I have earned his trust. I have always been honest with him and never cheated on him. He's asked to see conversations of mine that I've had with male friends twice over those 3 years, and I've obliged. The second time, however, I made it clear to him that I was very unhappy to be treated as though I was acting suspiciously. I did not deserve privacy with my friends when he had no reason at all to think I was being shady. I said that if he didn't trust me because of something I have said or done, I was 100% happy to have a conversation about that, to discuss it, and to address any issues he had. But if I had done literally nothing to cause suspicion, then I expected him to trust me. Good on you, Opie. He agreed with me, said that I had done nothing wrong, and never asked again. One of those conversations he asked about was with my friend Roger. Roger had, 2 years before I started dating Paul, confessed feelings of love for me. I told him I wasn't interested, and that was that. By the time I was seeing Paul, I had absolutely no reason to think things were anything but platonic between Roger and myself. A week ago, Roger and I got together for coffee. Again, I want to stress that before this happened, I had literally no reason at all to think that he held any of those feelings still. At the cafe, Roger suddenly went on this impassioned monologue about how much he still loved me, how Paul was a terrible boyfriend, and how I should dump him and be with Roger, how loyal Roger was, how perfect we were together, etc.
Yikes.
I was pretty much silent through this whole speech because I was so surprised and uncomfortable. But when he stopped, I told him, probably not as strong as I should have, but I didn't know what to do, that I love Paul, that I was absolutely not leaving Paul, and that I needed to go home immediately. I was shaken up by the whole thing, so I took my time getting home to calm down. By that time I got home, I found that Roger had sent a long, utterly insane Facebook message to Paul detailing how much he loved me, that we were destined to be together, and heavily implying but not outright stating that Roger and I had been carrying on an affair for weeks. Yikes.
Well.
Yikes.
That's one way to do that.
I don't know why he did this. I have no explanation. Paul believes it completely. He has listened to my explanation of things but thinks I'm lying. He doesn't want to see me or talk to me at all anymore. I'm completely devastated that Paul would believe this Facebook message over me. I'm horrified that my relationship with him has ended like this. I'm embarrassed that now I'm being seen as a cheater and a sleut who slept around on Paul. I'm utterly hateful towards Roger. It's very frustrating to have your boyfriend, Paul, who, again, like, it's seemingly it's because of his past experiences, but to not, you could be like, oh, I'm assuming you were like, I can show you on my phone. Like, there's no proof of this at all. He's lying.
One snippet of real advice, because we've had stories like this, and it's like when something like this happens and you're in a relationship, you need to immediately talk about it that day.
Yeah. Well, I think
like,
she did. Oh,
no, because it's like now
she got home
he's
later.
Hearing, right.
That was the problem.
It
She got
needs to
home
be
later
like
and he had sent it.
You won't believe what just happened to me at the coffee shop.
Absolutely.
Like, it's immediate communication of like, yo.
I do think it was like within an hour or two. I think she was like,
Yeah.
whoa, what just happened? And then she gets home and he's like, I just got this Facebook message.
Oh,
They're cheating.
I interpreted that there was like a gap, but
I know it
there
was same
very well
day.
could not have been.
I know it was same day because she said I just took a little bit longer getting home because I was like shocked. It's been a week and I can't convince Paul to talk to me. I know he had those trust issues in the past, but I really believe we were long past them. Comments. Comment 1 says, maybe a little late for now, but what you should have done was call the crazy friend while you were with trust issue boyfriend. Have the phone on speaker and ask him why on earth he would lie to your boyfriend like that. Comment 2 says, I think your answer is kind of nested in what you wrote. You find it a deal breaker if someone is unable to trust you, your boyfriend, in the context of a my word versus their situation, without there being any evidence besides Roger's word to suggest you were cheating, and with the set against your stated position that you haven't ever done so, has chosen to believe someone else over you. It seems he does not trust you. And you've just said yourself what you decided the consequences of that would be. That is true. That is what you said. If you can't trust me, then we can't be together, and he can't trust you.
So I guess we can't be together.
So yeah, that's pretty set match.
Don't answer your own question.
Opie says, I didn't think of it this way until you put it so clearly. I guess you're right. Even if I spoke to Paul now, I would always remember that he didn't believe me or trust me. I'd always be scared of it happening again. Comment 3 says, none of this is your fault. Your friend is nutty, however. I think the lesson here is when a friend declares feelings for you, it is smarter not to maintain that relationship. Everybody is not as weird as your friend, who I hope you are now not speaking to, but it is at least awkward. Well, I disagree with that. I don't think it's always, like if someone declares feelings, I don't think it's always the end of the friendship.
It should be the end of this friendship.
It should have been the end of this friendship, yes. I don't think you can do much of anything except hope Paul will come around. OP says, I haven't had any contact at all with Roger, and I don't think I could ever forgive him. I mean, why would you? Not only did he, lie and say, I don't even know, like, it's not that he reached out to your boyfriend and said, oh, I am in love with your girlfriend. He also implied that you had been sleeping together, which is so disgusting to me.
Well, it's just the whole nature of the lie.
I mean,
just
it's all
it's
disgusting.
from a gross,
It's
just
very,
place of deceit and
this
infatuation.
Yeah, and
when
just delusion.
When you get someone in your life like this who confesses all these big feelings, I do agree with you when you say it doesn't have to be the end of connection, period. But moving forward, you really do have to have you gotta really attune your radar. Your
Yes,
BS radar
absolutely
to this person.
I mean, you should be adjusting how you interact with them. Absolutely,
Right.
I think. And also, I think there is a difference between confessing feelings, like a crush, and confessing love. Because love is a big emotion. Weirdly enough, Roger has not at all attempted to contact me since this happened. He sent that Facebook message to Paul and now has gone totally silent and not attempted to contact either me or Paul. That's because it was if I can't have you, no one can.
Right.
He wanted to get revenge on you because you rejected him and he's a piece of trash. Comment 4 says, so this guy professed his love and you kept him around the last few years? Do you keep any of these other men hovering around you waiting for their chance? I don't blame your boyfriend. I don't like this comment. If I got that message, it would take a lot of convincing that it wasn't true. For someone to confess to an affair that didn't happen is quite rare indeed. And even if untrue, I'd be mad that I had to be involved in spillover trauma from your friends.
Yeah, this is a guy who likes to
You'd
be
be like,
alone.
I'd be mad if someone crazy was being crazy towards you and then they also were crazy towards me. Like, what the heck? Why'd you involve me in your drama? Update, though. Do you have any thoughts before we scoot in there?
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless of and we already said that, it's Roger threw the wrench in here. But it is just showing you that the partner that you're with, Paul, he's not in a place where he can trust you.
Yeah.
And if that's a prerequisite of y'all being together, well, now you've realized you guys aren't really, meant to
can't
be
be
dating
together.
right now anyway.
Yeah.
So
No.
in a way, you almost have to chalk it up to just be like, thanks, universe.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You've given me a sign. After 3 years, he doesn't trust me. But anyway, there's an update. I want to thank everyone so much for commenting. Before I post what happened, I just want to address a few things that I didn't get to in the first post. First, Paul knew I was having coffee with Roger. It wasn't some kind of secret thing. Paul has female friends he has lunch or coffee with alone too, so this isn't unusual in our relationship. Second, Paul did not know that Roger had said he loved me 5 years ago. I definitely made a mistake not telling him that, but honestly, it was so long ago, and to my obviously wrong knowledge, was old history. We did not extensively discuss our past, so there wasn't really a natural point where it would have come up, and it just never occurred to me to say anything. I mean, honestly, yeah, I kind of, like, if it was like a one-time thing,
Right.
I understand that.
Yeah, I'm never going to be in a
there was
relationship.
no relationship.
I'm never going to be like, hey, so here's every person who's ever told me they love me.
There would be so many people.
Do you want it alphabetical?
Finally, Roger and I did not have a particularly intense friendship. It's not like we were texting constantly or best buddies. We hung out occasionally and would be in touch if something relevant came up, but we didn't just chat randomly. Anyway, with that being said, I took the advice of some Redditors, and when I was a little calmer, I Facebook messaged Roger asking him why he lied. He responded with, "What do you mean?" At which point I started pressing him harder. He responded only with one-word answers and honestly didn't reply to most of my messages at all. No matter how much I asked, he never actually said any definitive statement of, yes, I lied for such and such reason. Finally, I sent him a definitive statement that said I had never had an affair with him, that I was incredibly hurt and angry, that our friendship was over, and that he was never to contact me again. He replied, okay. And that was that. I sent the entire Facebook conversation to Paul, not thinking it would help save us, but just to try and clear my name, which is fair. I mean, like, even if you don't want to be with Paul anymore, I wouldn't want an ex of mine to be like, yeah, she cheated on me. Like,
Yeah,
it's not a good look. In the message, I asked him if Roger's reactions to my questions and my response to Roger was in line with what he would expect if Roger's accusations were true. Paul didn't respond that day, but the next day he called me. Paul basically said that the more he thought about it, the more he believed me, and that the conversation between Roger and I helped him believe that Roger's responses didn't make sense, and that he now thought nothing had gone on. Too late. Oh, however, he said despite that, the trust was broken between us and he couldn't be with me. I got pretty mad and yelled at him, asking why I was being punished for nothing, and he just basically disengaged from the discussion.
Oh, but see, girl, you're not
Coward.
being punished. You got to say thank you, universe,
Yeah.
for not having me waste more of my time.
This is not a punishment. You are being saved from this.
It probably
relationship.
feels like one, but in
Yeah.
reality, it's just not.
Not my finest moment, I know. I was just so overwhelmed with frustration. We did eventually end the conversation calmly, if not amiably, and he is dropping off the stuff that I had left at his apartment later this week. But you can drop yourself off to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there's a wee bit left to the story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Don't jump to conclusions.
Don't jump to conclusions,
All right. Gather
people.
your evidence. I'm probably calling the guy accusing, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm Paul and I'm nervous, I'm going to be like, all right, let me see how tight this guy's story is.
Yeah. Okay. When did it start? When
Mhm.
did? But it seems like he just kind of. I don't know if Paul tried to message him back, but it seems like OP said that he just kind of stopped talking to both. Of them.
I mean, of course, but I'm just saying, if I'm in a situation where it's like, and I'm presented with this information,
Yeah.
I'm going to the person accusing
Yeah.
and saying that if they're
Prove
like
it.
involved with it,
Show
being
me
like, all right,
text,
so
show
when
me
did it happen?
receipts.
Like, what is that? Blah blah blah. Like, what does their right butt cheek look like?
That's what I was thinking. Actually, do they have a mole on their butt?
Yeah. Anyway, there's a bunch of different ways you could go about that. Just that's what I do before being like gross. I'm believing it and not talking to either of them.
I learned my lesson. Not only will any declaration of interest by a friend end that friendship forever, but I will never date someone who has trust issues or a history of being cheated on again. I'm sure I come across as a little bitter about this, but I honestly feel like there was absolutely no point to my fidelity and honesty during those 3 years. Of course there's a point. You were a good person. You were a good partner.
OP's so confused about this. She's like, damn, should I have just been
Should've-
cheating on
should've
him the
been
whole
freaking-
time?
It's like, no, of course not.
Maybe I should cheat on my man.
I got treated like a cheater, whether or not I cheated, and both Paul and I ended up hurt and alone despite being 100% faithful. That's not your fault for being like honest in a relationship. That's Paul. Better to end up alone or stick to friends with benefits than end up investing another 3 years in a relationship to have this be the conclusion. Wow. OP is in her feels.
Upsetty
Girly.
spaghetti.
No. This is not the takeaway. Paul sucks.
Yes.
The takeaway is not that your relationships are always going to be like this and that you should just cheat. That's not the takeaway.
relationship. The answer to this is cheat.
No, wrong answer. Stop.
You're right. You
Wrong
should cheat on
takeaway.
every man and make sure don't date any
takeaway.
guys who have trust issues already, because you'd be wasting your time. You should
Give
be
them
giving
trust
trust
issues.
issues to the people who don't have them yet.
Terrible.
No, people, come on.
No.
No, don't do that. That's
No.
all jokey jokes.
Jokey jokes.
Yeah, and I don't ever like the response. Well, I guess I'll never date a guy who has been cheated on or has trust issues again. Or it's like, I guess I'll never do that. It's like, stop doing black and white stuff. Everything in life lives in the gray area between black and white.
Yeah, like
really.
of course there are going to be some people that like have very deep trust issues that probably aren't ready for a relationship in general.
My parents disapprove of my relationship. They'd rather I marry a stranger.
I mean, what's just a random guy among family?
By the way, quick trigger warning, there is physical violence. If you want to skip to the next story, go ahead and do so. My boyfriend, white 21 male, and I, Indian 20, have been dating for 2 years now. We met in college, and for the past 2 years, I hid this relationship from my parents as they are super conservative, and I guess I was scared to tell them. By the way, this comes from Mucho Stress 2014, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. A little background on my family. We've been living in the States for almost 15 years. My mother does not speak English, and it seems whenever I do anything against my parents' wishes, they start shouting that I've become too American, and almost always use emotional blackmail on me in those instances. Anyways, the other day, boyfriend and I went to a restaurant for a date, and I decided to stop by my parents' house to drop off some food for them. I figured I could just show them me hanging out with a guy to prepare them later for finding out that I was dating him. Boyfriend and I drop off the food, and I simply said, we're going to call him Dakota.
Oh, no.
We'll call him Bob.
Nice.
This is Bob, pointing to boyfriend. Not specifying what our relationship was, my parents' faces showed a mixture of shock, surprise, a little anger, but I was not completely sure. After the very quick intro, boyfriend and I headed back to college. The next day, I hung out with my mother, and she told me the guy last night had an innocent face, and that she liked that. I realized this was good. This was a good segue, and I said, yeah, also, he and I have been on like 1 or 2 dates, and we're sort of dating.
Yeah, real smooth segue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, his innocent face. I've been kissing it.
Oh, God. Not so innocent anymore now, huh? She took the news a lot better than I thought she would, saying that it was okay on her side, but I needed to talk to my dad.
Oh,
boy. Well, after a couple of days, since I kept not being able to muster up the courage to tell him, I spoke to my father. I told him that I and the guy he had met last week had been on 1 to 2 dates and we were currently dating. And since it was an important event in my life, I wanted to tell them, my parents, about it. I also asked if it was okay to have him over at our house for the summer so I could hang out with him. My dad immediately grew very serious and replied, no. He went on to say, why do you need a date? If you want a boy, meaning for marriage, I will find you one. I, of course, replied, I'm not talking about marriage. I haven't even started medical school yet. After that, here is the gist of what he said. You need to end this. You're our only hope here.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And I can't imagine an American in the family. You are a role model for your sister. Keep that in mind. I didn't reply anything. And soon we reached where he was dropping me off, so I got out of the car. So that was yesterday morning, and since then, he has not talked to me. Last night when he came home, my mother asked everyone to come to dinner, and he kept saying that he wasn't hungry / didn't have an appetite. After a lot of persuading by my mother, he finally agreed to eat in the living room. That was 24 hours ago. Today in the evening, I took a little nap and woke up to my parents discussing me upstairs. My father was saying she has become modern, wanting to date. My brother also did his medicine in the United States, and he didn't even think about dating anyone in this time. She has no shame. Then I also heard my mother crying and saying, who do we have to live for? We could find her a medical boy. And my dad replies, she herself hasn't done medicine yet. After hearing that, I didn't want to hear any more and went to the bathroom. I don't know what to do. I'm very nervous and extremely stressed all the time, and I don't feel like eating anything. I am trying to feel happy, but then I hear stuff like this. My parents have never been the encouraging kind. The other night we were going out to dinner and I wore a dress and a blazer, and he said, you look like, I don't know if that word is bad or not, but I'll say the English version. You look like a blank, meaning like a villager or uncivilized. That made me cry. Dude, very insanely mean thing to say to your daughter. And when he saw me crying, he was like, stop it. I replied, other dads tell their daughter how beautiful they are.
Stop it. You're making it worse. It's like, this guy's brutal.
God, yes.
Who is this guy?
So brutal.
God.
I replied, other dads tell their daughters how beautiful they look on their graduation. And then there's you. He didn't reply anything to that. Anyways, that was a side story. But the point is, my dad can be quite an a-hole sometimes. And I don't know how this whole situation is going to sort out. I obviously do not want to stop dating my boyfriend and would like my family to accept what's going on. I think deep down, I also fear getting sent back to India or something. I wish my parents could see that dating my boyfriend makes me happy. I'm scared to talk to them, especially my dad. Any advice would be appreciated. Thank you. Please note that moving out is completely out of the question as I am planning to go to a professional school and my father will be helping me pay for it. And we've got some comments coming up. But yeah, I mean, look, just to get right down to the root of it, at the end of the day, daughter is going to live daughter's life, and you can't control, what someone is going to do. I know there's cultural factors here at play, and I'm not, here to say I understand completely the ins and outs of all those dynamics, but at the end of the day, you just can't control someone.
I mean, it's definitely silly to like, maybe you can control someone. Very silly to expect them to like, be like, thank you. By the way, I'm really glad that you did that to me, by the way.
Thank you for controlling me and limiting me of all my options.
I'm so glad I'm not allowed to decide anything for myself. That was really great that you did that.
That's not going to be, you have to understand that is not going to be the response.
Yeah.
You got to be ready for, so if you try to control someone,
just get ready for them to like want nothing to do with you as soon as they get control of their own stuff.
Yeah. But we have some relevant comments. Comment 1, I think you need to shut this discussion down. I'm Indian, and the thing is, not me, this commenter. I'm Indian, and the thing is, you keep asking your parents for permission and approval. Surely they'll say no if they can. The way you started off was perfect. Hey, mom, this is X. We are dating. No room for discussion, no justifying, no pleading, no emotional engaging. Then you messed it up a bit with asking your dad for permission. In my opinion, you need to do this in a super unemotional, cheerful way. I'm dating X. I will keep dating X. I have no plans to marry anytime soon. That's what's happening. Do not get sucked into an argument about it. If they try, say, this isn't up for discussion, and smile cheerfully. It's time to start being emotionally independent, though. I know it's much easier said than done. Also, you're going to move out from med school fairly soon, right? So that solves that problem. Also, if it helps, in literally every single case of a-hole Indian parents I know, the parents come around eventually. Sometimes it's not until you pop out a kid and they want to spend time with the grandkid, which admittedly is a long way off, but they always come around eventually. Well, we've seen it like a million times. All cultures is as soon as you pop out the grandbaby fever kicks in, and I'm like, oh, grandbaby, give me the grandbaby. It's like, no, now you need to behave like actual good humans. I understand what commenters are saying. I think like, Opie's young, and this is probably really hard. So like, I get, yes, Opie didn't perfectly execute this, whatever. But I totally agree with what they're saying of like, hey, just say, this is my boyfriend, this is what I'm doing. Like, no explanation necessary. Like, I'm making this choice and here's what it is.
I mean, a lot of the advice that we give for a lot of stories, it's like, it kind of comes down to that. It's like, it's pretty simple where it'll be like,
yes,
that like, yeah, you should just be firm with your boundaries and say, this is what's happening. I'm going to keep doing it. And if they get mad, don't engage and like pull back. But it's like, if someone's in an environment or like a dynamic where it's like, that's not a known thing, you're basically just being like, yeah, read this Greek play in Greek, please.
Yes.
And they'd be like, well, I can't. And they'd be like, well, no, you just read it. Like, I feel like that might be the situation, kind of. Like, if the parents are so domineering, it's like, you don't know how to approach them on an even level whatsoever.
Yeah, and like, in fairness to the parents, it's like, okay, if you are literally, if you have something ingrained in you, and it's like literally the thought whisper imagination of something is never even brought up as an idea,
right?
Then it's like, I could understand where it's like hard coded into your software. Also, if they keep being a pain in the butt, it might be time to pull out the big pew-pews. I've seen your arranged marriage and seeing the way you two interact. I know that's not what I want from my marriage at all. I'm going to date and I'm going to figure out what I want before I get married, and that's not negotiable. We didn't get the full, I don't think we got enough of a full, clear picture on their marriage. So maybe that's too much.
It's a little inferment.
Yeah. But I think, again, like, just go back to the earlier point of like, this is what I'm doing. That's it. This morning, my maternal grandparents from India called, and my grandmother spoke to me saying that my dad had called her, saying that she and my grandpa needed to come to the States right now.
Oh my God.
Oh, snap.
They're doing an intervention?
Dude. And asked when he should book their tickets. Of course, this is because of what I told him, that I've quote unquote started dating this white guy. My grandma asked me why he was so worried. Then she proceeded to say how I should be happy because she could tell by my voice that I wasn't, and how I should make my family happy and that I need to focus on my education. Then she also said something that made me very scared, that my dad had talked about how he wants to sell our house and move back to India. Meanwhile, my mother keeps crying and saying, why are we even living here? Do you think we'd pick a wrong guy for you? Yeah, you might be dating now, but what if down the road you want to marry a white guy? I kept saying that I had introduced my boyfriend to them because it was what was making me happy. But of course, my mother kept claiming, this is not our culture. I don't care. I don't care that we've lived here for so long. You need to look at your Indian heritage. All of your relatives and family would laugh at us and at you. No one in this family is making this easy right now. So my grandmother asked me what she should tell my dad. So I told her that I want to discuss things with him myself and that I would later tonight. I am freaking out. I do not doubt that my dad would sell our house and move all of us to India. I will be talking to him later tonight.
What do you mean move all of us to India?
I guess because she, like, remember earlier she was like, oh, moving out right now isn't an option because I'm still like finishing school. I guess it's like, hey, I'm like full-time student. I'm kind of like relying on them for housing and everything.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting called. Hello? Oh, wait. Oh, it is still an option though. You can just change your plans, dude.
Yes, it is an option. It is an option, but like in my head it's because I again, like, the parents are clearly very involved and very in control of like what's going on. So she's just feeling like, I mean, yeah, if they sell the house and move back to India, I guess I have to go with them, but you don't. I think venturing out on her own to just like live independently and just like explore whatever, you know, literally just whatever she ends up wanting to have in her life.
Yeah.
Like that, I think it's clearly doesn't exactly align with her family. So it's like, yeah, go for that. Go for that. And yeah, it is an option. Obviously not easier said than done, but that option is there.
Oh yeah, dude.
So Opie says, I have Indian neighbors who have a son who's dating a white girl, and I'm considering calling them in private and telling them about this and asking them to stop by our house tonight when I bring this up with my dad. Maybe they will be able to help explain that dating is not a bad thing and show my dad that selling the house and moving back to India is not the answer. I am really scared, though. We have a second update.
Okay, here's what happens. They have a very, very, very fruitful discussion after OP corroborates the technique with the neighbor.
Yep. Shout out neighbors.
And they all live somewhat happily ever after.
I'm in with that. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that. Last night, I talked to my parents. Painful discussion. I started off the discussion saying that my dad and I were mature adults, and thus we should deal with the situation like adults, sit down and talk it out. I then said, listen, I understand that as a parent, where you are coming from, you want the best for me, but the ideas on life and your thoughts are very different from mine. At this, he interrupts me and said, you listen to me. I have sacrificed so much for this family. They married me off at 21, saying they needed the money, the dowry, and I didn't resist. Why? Because I respected my parents, and I knew that they knew the best. The best for me. After you go to med school and get done, you will have many opportunities to find someone. I will not stop you. The only thing I will not stand for is he has to be an American. There are millions of people in the world. Why an American? Ever since you told me about this dating thing, I kept waking up with nightmares at 4 a.m. in the morning, knowing it's an American. You will never marry an American. I will be passed away to you on that day.
Why live in a place where you hate the people so much?
Dude, call back to what he said. Like, I did this. I did this, so you have to.
Right. I did this because I knew my parents knew the best for me, and I clearly don't have any hard feelings about it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm making you do it like I
Yes.
had to do.
Anyways, I won't bore you with the details, but I was very calm, surprisingly, and didn't cry and tried to be rational, asking why he can't be American whenever I do decide to marry. All he would reply is, he just can't. After a lot of blah, 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 he was like, you've become totally American and individualistic. You don't care about your family anymore. I've talked to some of my friends about selling the house in a year after your sister completes high school, and we will go back to India. At this, I said, well, what about me? I want to stay here and get a really good medical education. When he heard this, he flipped out and turned to my mom and said, do you see how shameless she is? She doesn't care that we would go back to India. She just cares about paying for her medical education. Fine, we'll sell the house and give you the money, and you can do whatever the heck you want.
I'm sorry. Her just being like, hey, so like, could I maybe stay and go to medical school if you guys do that? He's like, fine. Take all the money we make from the house and do whatever you want with the rest of your life. It's like,
Cool.
oh, nice.
Let's do it. Now, of course, Opie says, I was like, that is not what I said. I meant you don't want to see me become a great doctor here. That is my dream, and I don't care about the money. I will take out loans and stuff. I would like you guys to be here when I do become a doctor. Why do I have to choose? Saying that was a dumb move on my part, lol, because it kind of gave him the idea to make me choose. And he said, you're leaving us no option. What options are you giving us? You need to choose between your family or this boy.
And to be clear, she is not planning on marrying this guy. She's just dating someone.
At this, I replied, I'm giving you an option. I am saying that I plan to keep dating him, and it would be great if I could have you guys support, but if not, what can I do? At this, he flips his crap again and screams at my mom. Do you hear what she said? She said that she's going to keep dating him, and we can either support her or she will date him anyways, and we can go to hell. I think that's actually not what she just said. After this, he threw his glasses on the floor in anger and lunged at the ground, shouting and crying as if he was going to get hurt. My mother and sister ran to stop him before he did anything like that. And then they were all hugging my dad and was like, sorry, I need to care for my younger daughter. Our older one has shamed us. I need to look after you guys. Again, he said all this while crying. Then he got on a call, and I took it as a good opportunity to grab a book and go read outside on my house on the porch. After a while, my dad comes outside saying sarcastically, yeah, I know how much reading you're getting done. Give me the number of the guy, my boyfriend. At first, I was silent. Then he asked again, and I said, no, I won't. I did not want my dad verbally abusing my boyfriend. Frowny face. So at this, he comes in front of me. I was sitting, he was standing, and very angrily, he was like, what did you say? And he physically hurt me a bit. I looked at him square in the eye and said, do not hit me again. He said, or what? Are you going to call the police on me? I said, yes, I will. I do not want to get hurt. He seemed like he was going to do something in anger again, but my mom came and took him inside. I did not want to stick around the house, so I took a walk around my neighborhood until it got super dark. I went to my room later and tried to sleep it off. I was very tired from all of it. As the second anything it's so beyond the line and unacceptable.
I would have been like, he's like, what are you going to do? Call the police? I'm like, no, I'm going to call the Oklahoma drill right now. And I would have buried him.
Then around midnight, my mom came to give me food and I decided to eat. But then she called my grandmother in India and handed me the phone. My grandmother was crying and just saying I should listen to my parents. I told her I would call her tomorrow, aka today. It's afternoon right now. I'm helping my sister study, but my mother is talking on the phone and crying loudly, saying I expected so much from her. Who do we have to live for? Blah, 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 blah. I am so tired. And no, I didn't end up taking the neighbor's help last night because they didn't answer their phone. I was going to a friend's sleepover tonight, which I told my parents about earlier in the week, and just found out that they have hid my car keys since I can't find them. Great. Everyone, my mom, my grandparents, keeps telling me I should listen to my dad. What if something happens to someone because they are stressing out about it so much? Yeah, they're like, oh, what if something happens to your dad? It's like, he's doing that to himself.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It's like, why am I responsible for every member of my family right now?
Come on. So, yeah, there's that. And we have update number 3.
Let's go, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Number 3.
Yesterday, I asked one of my friends to give me a ride to the sleepover. My dad had called earlier in the afternoon asking my mom if I was still going to the sleepover, and if I was to be back later in the night, I couldn't stay the night there. My mom conveyed this message to me, and it made me angry. First of all, he hid my keys, and then he asked whether I'm still going. Second, I told her it's a sleepover, I'm going to spend the night there, and I will be back in the morning. Anyways, last night was a much-needed getaway for me. Oh, yeah, you honestly, I didn't even think about that, but yes, you needed to just get out of that environment for a beat, for a night, for
straight up
a day, a week, whatever. It's only been like 5 days being at home, but it's felt like a lifetime. So seeing my lovely, wonderful friends was very nice. I got a chance to vent face to face, and it made me feel a little better. My friend dropped me off this morning at my house very early, and I went back to sleep. I'm up now, and I had asked my Indian neighbors whose son had been dating a white girl if they would be willing to come over tomorrow and speak with my parents along my side. I am reconsidering this now, however, because I do think it will make my father angry. And second, I don't know whether it will change their minds at all. In fact, it could spew up everything all over again. By the way, if you want to have a unlimited treasure trove of content, I'm talking over 2,000 podcast episodes for your listening pleasure.
Oh my God.
Go to Spotify, Apple, or iHeart and search OK Storytime and start listening right now. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we've pretty much said everything here. My hope is that she does do what you said in the beginning of like, it's a hard option, but it is an option of just going out and living on. She did say later in the story, like, I'm down to kind of like figure it out, get some loans, which at this point, look, not a generally advisable thing, but hey, you're going to medical school. Maybe there's some scholarships. Like for her life and sanity, I think this is like definitely.
I think you got to start pulling off your parents. But I said this a handful of times. I think today I'm just gonna. Would be my overall advice for like the before we get into the rest of the story, and it's that like as just a person, OP, like you need to sit with yourself and figure out like what is it you want. What do you really want? You want to go to med school out here, right? And you want to date this guy. But do you want your family to not be in your life? And it's like, you can like not, you have to like weigh all these things, but like find like the root, like the seed, like the most like, the incorruptible truth of like, this is that thing that I want. And then what do you have to do to make that happen? I don't want my family bothering me. All right, you have to now like kind of cut them off, live on your own, figure it out.
Or even just like, hey, I'm going to do this and let them do whatever they will do. Or, you know, but yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, from the dad, absolutely like that he has gone to some unforgivable grounds.
I mean, yeah, your dad's clearly a little racist.
Yeah, and he's physically assaulting his own daughter. Other choice is just to not do anything else. Give them time to think and hope their minds will change. I am tired of my mom and my grandparents crying to me about how I should listen to my dad, not break up the family, etc. What do you guys suggest? Also, thank you to every single one of you who has commented and messaged me. I am reading all of them, and they do give me hope, so thank you. You all are awesome. We have some comments. Comment number 1, why the F would they move to the U.S. and then be surprised you're dating an American? People can be so dumb. I hope you are keeping yourself safe. Comment number 2 says, since your father likes choices so much, here are his. He needs to shut up. He moved you to America for a reason. What did he assume was going to happen? He can either go to jail for the harmful act he did, or he can let you be an adult. Or, heck, let him go back to India. If you're smart enough for medical school in the States, you can probably take decent care of yourself on your own with loans and support of your friends. Comment number 3 says, I really feel for you, but in this kind of situation, you really shouldn't have escalated it. Take their money and lie. It's not worth a relationship with these a-holes. So if you can lie and be okay with them and have them give you money to then take advantage of it. I'm in a similar situation, but I'm Pakistani Canadian and I am attracted to the same gender and have a white boyfriend. I came out to my parents, disaster and upheaval. I lied, and they denied. We have a good relationship now. It sounds like a song, dude. We have a good relationship now, but don't talk about the obvious attracted to the same genderness issue. My dad even found out about my boyfriend, but I shut that discussion down. I don't rely on them for tuition, but if I ever ran out of savings, I would turn to loans first. If they're treating your relationship like a business transaction, then you should too. I mean, the only thing I'll say there is, and look, I am completely out of my weight class here and out of my league, and I am not a professional. I only play one on an internet podcast, but I think there does come a day of reckoning of like living your truth. You know what I mean? In a lot of situations, and not to say that there isn't something there or that but it's a very complicated, tough decision to make. But I think I'll just say, closing out this story real quick, live your truth.
I bought my boyfriend flowers, and then he got furious.
Maybe he was allergic.
Okay, so my boyfriend, 22 male, and I, 21 female, have been together for about 5 months, and it's been good so far. But about a week ago, I was at his apartment, and he told me that most men only receive flowers when they've passed away. He then went on a bit of a rant about women not caring as much as men when it comes to their partners, and then men want shows of affection too. By the way, this comes from user QuirkyWait7729, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I honestly took this all as a hint that he wanted flowers. So yesterday, I went to Whole Foods and picked out all the flowers I thought he would like and put them together in a big bouquet. I also got him a coffee, some chocolates, and a few other things I thought he would like. I've done things like this before, just minus the flowers. I usually put a Game Pass gift card or a Lego set, etc. I feel like this is important because I don't want anyone to think I don't show him affection or get him gifts. I definitely do. So I show up to his apartment with literally the biggest smile. I was so excited to see his reaction. But when I gave him the flowers, he got a super uncomfortable look on his face and wouldn't touch or kiss me at all. I asked him what was wrong and if he liked the flowers. And then he just kind of blew up at me saying that flowers are only for apologizing and that if I cheated on him, I needed to tell him right now. I was shocked and started crying because I have never and would never cheat on anyone. He took the flowers to the kitchen and threw them in the trash, which honestly felt like extremely disrespectful. He told me to get out of his apartment and that he didn't have time for cheating witches.
Wow.
His words. Every time I tried to explain, he said he didn't want my excuses, and when I'm ready to tell him who the man is, then I can talk to him then. But there is not a man, and I didn't cheat on him. I just thought he wanted flowers. I've never thought of flowers as just an apology. He's never gotten them for me, but I just thought he didn't like showing love that way, so I buy them for myself every week. I'm just so confused and hurt by his reaction, and I don't know what to do to fix the situation. Am I the a-hole for buying him flowers? Do women really only buy flowers as an apology?
No.
I'm so confused.
No.
And there is an edit. I'm completely overwhelmed by the responses. Everyone's making me realize that he is not worth my time at all.
Nope.
I tried to do something nice for him and he threw it back in my face. I texted him and told him that we need to talk, and his response was finally ready to confess or what. So that tells me he's done no critical thinking on his end about the situation. We're meeting for lunch tomorrow and I'll update everyone after. Thank you for the kind replies and for opening my eyes to what an a-hole this guy is. I'm just glad I didn't waste years of my life. There's another edit. Clarify. His parents gift each other flowers regularly, so he has seen flowers given to a partner for reasons other than cheating. His mother gifted him flowers for his college graduation, so he has received flowers previously. And this is not the first time. Also, I have had a few people tell me it's weird of me to gift him things like the Lego sets, etc. that I have mentioned in my post.
Who is telling you this?
Don't listen to everybody.
Who is telling you this?
He told me at the beginning of our relationship that his love language is gift giving and he loves receiving gifts. That's why I do it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Wait, hold
my
up.
love language is getting money.
Your love language isn't gift giving if it's just that you like receiving gifts.
Yeah.
That's not what the love language gifting means. It means that you like giving gifts.
Mm-hmm.
That's what love language means.
My love language is when you give
I
me
like when
stuff.
people give me stuff. Like, duh.
I did not think it would come across as weird in any way. I only spend around $50 each time, which is nothing for me as I have a well-paying job. I was in a relationship for 2 years previously, and I gave my partner monthly gifts throughout the entire relationship. So I'm in no way trying to love bomb
That's
him.
not a love bombing thing. Anyone who said that was love bombing is not well versed.
I just always want my partner to know they are loved and appreciated. Big update, everybody. His mother is asking if she can call me. What do I do? His mother loves me and is honestly an angel. I don't know what he's told her about the situation. Should I be worried? Sorry for updating so many times. I'm going to take the call from his mother. I don't think she means any harm in calling me, but if it gets hostile, I'll hang up. I'm also considering canceling lunch tomorrow, but it partially depends on how this phone call goes. I've also had someone suggest just sending them both the link to this post, which I'm considering. Everyone's opinions on that would be appreciated. I told his mother she can call me this evening, so I'll update after that as well. We have some comments. Vadwar. What the hell? This dude is a major a-hole for sure. Certainly not the a-hole. I'd be over the moon to receive flowers, and this dude certainly sounded like he was asking for flowers without asking for them. This is either rage bait or your boyfriend is just a total knucklehead for sure and showing his true colors. Blazing Sunflower Land, he probably wanted to vent about how women have it so much better than men and picked the one thing he thought he would never receive as a man as his example of women having the good life when men suffer. When she showed up with her gifts, she took away his ability to rant, so he jumped into saying she cheated. He just wanted to rant and insult her. How dare she show up with a thoughtful gift rather than apologize for being a woman who uses men. The next one was going to say the same thing. Let's go update. Hey, we're on the update, guys. Woo! All right, guys, this isn't the update any of you were expecting, or maybe it is. And it's definitely not the one I was expecting to give, but his mom called me and it was both him and his mom on the phone. I pretty quickly told them I wasn't willing to talk to both of them, but my ex-boyfriend was crying, crying
Lord.
actual tears, so I listened. Your mommy told me that he had been talking to her about us, and she wants him to talk to me with her support so that he can tell me everything. He started it by telling me how he hasn't felt like I'm what he wants in a woman. I'm not willing to move in with him yet, and he's someone who only wants to date for 6 months before getting engaged, which he had not ever told me before, so this surprised me. This would mean he wants to be engaged next month, which is way too soon for me. He also told me that he has trauma around cheating because his high school girlfriend cheated on him in junior year and, you guessed it, apologized with a rose. Then he told me that he wants someone who is less career focused and someone who wants to have kids and not work. He said he thinks some of my ideals and morals are skewed, but wouldn't tell me which ones or what he meant. Then he just told me he wants a birthing unit, essentially. I'm paraphrasing. He also told me he's realized I'm a quote-unquote radical feminist, which I think is extreme because while yes, I'm a feminist, I don't hate all men or think they're all bad. I never talked badly about them to him and have really given him no reason to think that aside from being pro-choice.
He's been red-pilled.
He said he can't date someone who doesn't respect him and emasculates him. He said the flowers I gave him showed him that I viewed him as feminine and also showed that I was cheating. Oh my God, he wasn't even kidding. It was the flowers. I told him again that I was not and had never cheated on him and asked if he had cheated on me before. He was quiet and I kid you not for a full 2 minutes and then asked me to define cheating. I asked if he'd slept with someone else and he said no. I asked why he mentioned the flowers if he thought flowers were emasculating and he said it was more about the fact that men are treated, and I quote, more as slaves than humans in our society. He said it was less about him wanting flowers and more about him feeling like women aren't owed flowers. That was enough explanation on where he was coming from for me. I told him our relationship was clearly over and we don't share the same ideals. He said he was willing to work on it if I would make changes to become wife material. I said no and hung up. So yeah, lunch is definitely canceled and we're not together anymore, but don't worry. He would have skipped lunch to watch another Andrew Tate MEGA Compilation, clearly, because that's where he's getting all of his thoughts and opinions from.
Yup.
His mom didn't really say much other than that she would miss me and would always care about me. By the way, if you miss us and you care about us, you can go listen to full episodes of stories just like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime.
Do it.
58 consecutive days
What
worth
you
of
doing?
stories. I know it all seems like it was best for me, but I'm heartbroken and I didn't expect our relationship to end like this. He knew I wanted to work on my career, wait to have kids, etc., and always said he was fine with it, so it seems like he changed all of his expectations suddenly. I've been crying nonstop since the call, and I don't know what to think. You should think, thank God! You should thank hallelujah.
Goodness gracious that I got out of this relationship with this terrible baby man-child of a man.
The baby took the big red pill, and now he says, goo goo gaga. I hate women. Where's my Bugatti? Goo goo bugagati. I feel so stupid for not seeing that he was like this sooner, and I just wish I had never dated him. But I hope that gives some closure to everyone, and I appreciate everyone's help and kind words. Thank you, everyone. And we have some comments here. Let's just read the last one. Candid Quail 9927 says, just read the update. I know it's rough, but wow, consider yourself lucky. This guy is cheating in some way if it took him so long to respond. Yeah, oh my God, I forgot that.
It also freaking said define cheating.
Yeah, literally was like, I'm going to play a 4D chess move.
Define cheating.
So, define cheating. Did I sleep with anybody? No, I guess not. And now you've already defined cheating, so I'm not a cheater.
Yeah, can't prove it. Can't freaking prove it, man.
No one turns on a dime like he just did. You're both so young. Getting married after 6 months at your age is crazy. He has a lot of growing up to do, and his mommy knows that. You will be just fine. OP says, I'm just glad our relationship ended when he started expressing these views. I'd rather that than him hide it from me. Boom. And that is the end of that story.
Indeed.
Wow.
Man, oh man. Watch out, guys. Keep an eye out.
Thank God. You could have had a red pill husband. Instead, it's just a cringy
now you're single
ex.
and you can find a better person.
Yes. Ex-baby.
Lordy, that's the end of that story.
Woo, and the end of that episode.
Yes. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you,
and see you tomorrow.